The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Good morning to you.
Happy National Pie Day.
There is apple pie.
Oh, yeah.
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pretty good pie to The Rock.
Yeah.
And, of course, there is The Rock's all-time favorite, Poontang pie.
Tang pie! Check it out, kid. Look at this.
And The Rock knows Poontang pie.
I'm sure he does.
Guys, what exactly does third base feel like?
Like warm apple pie.
Huh? Jim?
It's not what it looks like.
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
Hey, Pie. I know what you want. I saw you in that movie. Whore, slut, bitch. You don't deserve to have sex with me. Instead, I'm gonna eat the whore out of you.
You can't have a pie without Cool Whip. Cool Whip? Cool Whip, yeah. You're saying it weird. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H? What are you talking about? I'm just saying it. Cool Whip. You put Cool Whip on pie. Pie tastes better with Cool Whip. Say whip. Whip. Now say Cool Whip. Cool Whip.
Well, how about a piece of pie?
National Pie Day.
Showtime.
I spent some time last night watching Baywatch, the movie starring The Rock and that dude who screwed up the Iron Claw movie. Zachy. All right.
That's one of those movies where I didn't really need to watch it to guess that it's probably a pretty bad movie.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Friggin' smarter than me when it comes to that stuff, Josh.
You do like to tune into some odd movies at times.
I'm an odd guy. I got weird tastes. I like cheese on my apple pie, things like that. Mediocre Machinist has gotten back to me via text. He asked me, do I like pie? I said, well, of course I do. Now he's asking me if I like cream pies. Oh, well, absolutely, yeah.
Those are the best, right?
Yeah, put whatever you want in there. It's been a drama-free beginning to our day here. Yesterday, Ashley effed up and ran out of gas on her drive to work like it was 1953 all over again. But today, everyone seems to be holding their own, don't they, Josh?
Yeah, so far so good. There were some very nice members of the Brotherhood who said they were willing to come all the way here to double check that you had gas in your vehicle. Make sure they wanted you to make it to work, Ash.
Oh, that's so nice.
Did you make it to a gas station yesterday, obviously?
My boyfriend stopped here on his way to work.
And filled you up?
Yeah, he put gas in, and he even put windshield wiper fluid in. Oh,
in the correct places?
Yes.
That's bad news if you mix those two up.
But wait, so are you still on the gas he put in there?
No, I went and got, he was like, you go and get gas right now. All right.
Well, that's...
Yes, sir.
Can't tell you what to do. Now I'm upset with him.
That is very nice. Very, very. Josh, you tell me, and I know we're not trying to be pigs here at all. We're not. But you tell me. My thought is running smooth out of gas to the point where the engine sputters and dies on the side of the road. Most dudes aren't going to make that mistake. You tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Well, okay, probably not. But at the same time, a lot of the people I know that like to risk it, and when the gas light goes on and goes, I got 50 miles, it's all dudes.
Yeah, the only two people
That's a very good
I know
point.
off the top of my head that have done that have been men.
That's a very good point.
Like if I say, oh, my gas light went on, I can't believe I let it go. Well, there's two types of people, guys specifically. I said my gas light gets on, I better go get gas. There's the guy that's going to tell me, you pussy, you got like, what are you worried about? You got 50 miles left. Or the other guy's just like, why would you let it get below a quarter of a tank? That's bad for the engine, man.
Yeah, my dad was a quarter of the tank is bad for the engine.
I never let it. If it's at a quarter of a tank, that means I was passed out for the week or something. I never let it get that low.
Maybe I'm wrong. I just thought, okay, I'm not trying to start trouble here. I'm not. But tell me where you go on this one now. Dudes versus chicks. And specifically dealing with, driving. Researchers at the University of Illinois, they say that the old stereotype that men are better at navigating than women might actually be true, but not for the reasons you might think. This age-old friggin' argument. Now, I'll go ahead and admit There's no way I'm better than anybody. No matter what's hanging between their legs, there's no way I'm better at anybody when it comes to navigation, direction. I am the worst in the county. I can get lost in a friggin' phone booth. I have no sense of direction at all. So I'm taking myself out of this equation.
I would argue that men are better at direction just because my personal experience. I just moved to a new town not too long ago, Coon Rapids, and it took me about a week to figure out where, the Cub, the Target, how to get there, how to get back, how to get to work, how to get to my parents' house, yada yada. And the whole first 2 months of us living there, my boyfriend was like, "How do you know how to get here already?"
Okay, so you're saying, generally speaking, you've got a better sense of direction, probably are a better navigator than your boyfriend.
I think that's because my parents, they're older, and so they, till this day, they don't tell me, oh yeah, just punch it into to Google Maps or whatever. They're like, all right, you got to go this way, take a left, go down 4 miles, you'll see this rock, turn right there.
By the way, were you and your boyfriend the first new couple to move to Coon Rapids on purpose?
I did say that a little weird.
In 40 years?
I wasn't going to mention what town, and then halfway through the sentence, I was like, it's big enough, people can't find me.
The mayor should have shown up and given you a hug or something.
Yeah, usually it's kind of part of a sentence, right? Or once you, hey, you can either go to jail or Coon Rapids. I thought that was kind of the gist there. And then a lot of people say, jail, please.
You two got balls, I'll tell you, moving to Coon Rapids on purpose. So anyone else have any thoughts on this sense of direction, this, men versus women navigation conversation?
I would say I'm way better at navigating than my girlfriend, my mom, and both of my sisters, but one of my sisters is really good at directions.
Ooh, okay. Now that you bring it up, Wapple, I can say that I'm better than my sister and my mom, but that's it. Mm-hmm. Those are the only two people I'm better at navigating than my sister and my mom.
But, in their defense, I grew up driving everywhere, so I kind of always know where I am and how to get places. My girlfriend never drove at all, so she has no idea where she is anywhere.
I mean, GPS is great, but I think there's an advantage to growing up when me and Nick did. You had to know where you were going. I mean, sure, we got those books, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, so then you'd have to commit it to memory. Hopefully you're not reading those books as you go. Mm-hmm. So I think that was helpful. I'm pretty good at it. But what you don't like to use the east, west, north, south, Nick, where for me that is incredibly helpful.
I'm brutal with that.
If I know what direction I'm going in, or somebody says, yeah, it's on the east side of the street or whatever it is, that's helpful to me.
I got to sit there and think about it when someone says the east side of this, go north, go south. I'm on the south side of this or that. I got to hit the brakes and pull over and go, okay.
You try to make a compass.
Yeah. But your car tells you now.
Let me. I know. See, I don't know how to turn any of that stuff on yet. I haven't figured out the stuff that goes on in your car and the GPS on your phone. I don't know how to do that. But I will have to. I mean, okay, I'm exaggerating that I pull over but I do have to think, okay, what was just said to me? He's on the south side of. I was not born with a sense of direction at all. So here's where we're going now. I mentioned that apparently, according to researchers, the stereotype that men are better at navigating than women might actually be true. I said not for the reasons you might think. I'll get to that. Well, first off, here's how they came to the conclusion there at the University of Illinois. They had men and women try to navigate their way through a city using only a map or verbal instructions, old school, map or verbal instructions, and the dudes performed significantly better than the women's did. Now, experts used to think, listen to this, how stupid does this sound? This will be almost as stupid as that Baywatch movie that I got a piece of last night. Experts used to think that men evolved to be better navigators by doing more hunting and gathering.
Okay.
That just sounds so dumb. That was disproved. So, why would men be better at finding their way around town than women's? The researchers think it's because we got more practice at it when we were young. Bear with me. Society encourages boys to play outside more than girls, so men, boys, men, whatever, might develop more navigational skills at a young age and have more time to hone them throughout their life. Maybe that's as dumb sounding as the hunting and gathering theory to some of you. I don't know, but that's the conclusion that they came to. By damn.
I'm trying to think about whether my wife is or not, but I always drive. I think I've been in the vehicle with her once when she drove. Since we've dated, I don't think she doesn't like to drive, and the time that I've been with her, she's not a very good driver, and the times I've followed her, she's not a very good driver in the way that she all of a sudden goes, oh yeah, I got to take this exit. Goes from the left all the way. Instead of just going, my bad, I'll go up to the next one.
I hate that. I hate when people do that.
She will suddenly exit.
Yeah, she doesn't really plan much ahead.
Can I tell you how it is with my friggin' wife? Oh, I can't believe you brought her up again, Josh.
I never said a word.
No, you didn't. She is an excellent driver, my friggin' wife. The only time she drives is when I'm going to be drunk. And that's often. Semi-often. But if I'm not going to drink, she says, you're the dude, you drive. And I'm fine with that.
I get that.
Yeah.
I prefer to drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do usually.
Yeah, I prefer to drive. I do most of the driving, but it's because I have a car and my boyfriend has a truck. So gas mileage, and if we're taking my car, I want to be the one that's driving.
Driving I enjoy doing it, and plus, if you're going 2, 3, 4 hours, it occupies me. I go crazy just sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I 100%
start masturbating
agree.
or something.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at your phone if you're in the passenger seat. I don't know about you guys, but I get dizzy. I get like motion sickness.
Put your freaking phone away. Put it away. Everybody, put them away. Anyway.
Here's what it's like going on a road trip with my wife. So I'm driving. I'll put on Holiday Road or something from vacation, just to get things going.
That's fun.
The dog bark is always fun, isn't it?
And then I look over my wife and say, "Oh, what a beautiful length."
Oh, then you're all
She falls
alone.
asleep instantly in the car.
I can't fall
It's like
asleep in
she's
the
a
car.
baby in a little baby seat.
That's adorable. I can't fall asleep very easily in motor vehicles.
She can pretty much instantly.
Let's see, what else? Is there anything else in here about this study that apparently shows that men are better with directions, navigating, all that? Let me hear. What do I got? This is just a trend. The research, they're calling it a trend. Don't etch it in stone. It's not a hard and fast rule. They say there are plenty of women who are great navigators and plenty of men who suck at it. Well, I'm one of the guys who sucks at it. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about here. A previous study looked at the spatial awareness skills of men and women. What is it? What does that mean? Spatial awareness skills.
I have issues with this, Nick.
You're always running into the walls and stuff.
That is true.
Yeah, like I'm not really aware of what's around me or how far away it is from me.
Klutziness.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, it's more being aware of what's around you.
Being aware of
spatial awareness. Like, for example, Ashley will walk into a wall in a building she's worked in for almost a decade.
Okay.
Or trip over a chair. One time this is not necessarily spatial awareness, but one time we saw her kind of slither out of a chair by accident.
You just fell straight out of your chair.
And it's not like she was leaning back and fell. She just fell out of the chair somehow.
Forward.
I was here for that. I saw her fall out of a chair. Okay, so now that I know what I'm talking about, spatial awareness skills, a previous study looked at the spatial awareness skills of men and women who had similar upbringings. My God, they really get down to the detail. And in that case, specifically talking about spatial awareness skills, women were just as good at navigating as men were. Do you follow what happened there? I think I do. I think I do. So, there are different kinds of navigating, I guess is what they're trying to say. In one case, the dudes perform better. In another, we were dead even. So there you go.
Yeah, I suppose spatial awareness, maybe you could throw in just the, and maybe this is exactly what they're saying, landmarks. Who was that you, Ashley, that said that? Like,
Yeah.
take a left at this rock, that kind of thing?
There have been times I've tried to follow that fancy schmancy screen in your car. What do you call that?
GPS?
Sure. Because again, with the wife, but she will dial that up when we're driving summers. And boy, I suck at following that even.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you're not used to it, I can understand.
I'm not used to it. It's still very new to me. I don't know. I don't need to go on and on. But I mean, I sound like a moron here. But I guess what's new? I'll be asking her questions like, "So I just follow the blue line?"
Oh, you're the best.
Well, what is that? How come that line's going that way? I'm just...
Wait, it says
this stuff was not built for me.
It says I have 100 feet and then turn right. What do I do?
Yeah.
Is it this light or the next one?
Why is there a green light over there? Now, what's that red line? I don't understand.
Yeah, see, I haven't figured it out yet. But I haven't spent enough time with it. Maybe if I... Who knows?
Ever since I had my driver's license, I've either had, GPS now, or I used to always print off MapQuest directions, too, before getting in the car to go
I remember
somewhere.
those days, yeah.
I used to have
Those
to
out.
print MapQuest out for my parents.
MapQuest. Oh, yeah, you guys made fun of me for saying that out loud a few days ago. MapQuest.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Sure. I don't know.
You can turn on the voice on your GPS that'll
I
say,
hate
"Hey,
that.
Nick, what's up, man? You're going to want to take a left in about 2 blocks."
I'd still F that up.
You think so?
Yeah. I got none of that. None of that was programmed in me. Sense of direction.
Oh, yeah, Wapple did a voice for navigation.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Waze. Wasn't it Waze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's still up there.
Is it? You can download Wapple telling you which way to go?
Okay, I remember this gimmick now. Folks, you can find a celebrity voice to navigate you around town.
Yeah, there was like Morgan Freeman and stuff was the
Right,
one.
right. And I'll tell you what, I was in a car once where there was vocal navigation or whatever the term is, and the voice was Boy George from the Culture Club.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
What made them download that one?
I have I didn't ask, but it was Boy George from the Culture Club. Karma Chameleon by
That's kinda fun.
Church of the Poison Mind. Give me the other Culture Club hits. Do you really want to hurt me? Go, Cubby.
I'm going to say no to that.
What?
I don't want to hurt you. Pooping in your shoes, Jesus. You know how he gets around? His wiener always points north.
Yeah.
He's got a crotch compass.
That's
pretty cool.
That's helpful.
Here's Teacher Jesus texting in, trying to make me feel better, I think, about my horrible lack of any sense of direction. He says, "You don't need to learn how to run that GPS. You know where you live. You know where you work. You know where your favorite bar is. You got it made. Why go anywhere else?"
Yeah.
And I try not to go anywhere else, but sometimes you have to, and sometimes you're not familiar, and that's when the struggle for me begins.
I've gotten very good at not going anywhere else.
Oh, I know you're the best.
You're one of the best.
And as a matter of fact, I've even gotten good at not going to, let's say we've got two of a particular restaurant or whatever it is. We got a couple dentist offices that are in the same umbrella. Mm-hmm. I now go to the one that's closer to me.
Nice.
By about, 2 minutes. We've got 2, soon enough 3 Chipotles. I go to the one that's closest. I refuse to go to the one that's further from me.
Uh-huh.
I mean, to the point where I'm starting to get a little concerned.
I will purposely choose like a place that's further than me sometimes because I want to like sit in my car and listen to music more, or I'm just bored and want to drive around.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Not me.
No, I want to get back home, have the food hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I get this a lot whenever I talk about my poor sense of direction. I just received a text from a listener who says, "You're the son of a truck driver. You should be good at directions." I didn't get that passed on to me. I got the flat ass. I got trucker butt. I got that from my dad. Trucker butt. Big time trucker butt. There is just no ass hanging off of me.
Oh, you got the nicotine addiction?
I was just going to bring that up. You're right, Wapple. I'm so hooked on nicotine, there's no turning back. Like my truck driver father, but I did not get that sense of direction. By damn, I didn't. Yes, I catch you guys sometimes checking out my trucker butt.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Almost every day.
I don't even try to hide it at this point.
You look good in a hat too.
Hats, sure. Baseball hats, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Any kind of hat, trucker cap.
Yeah. Gotta bend that bill like a son of a bitch. Just cone it out like the
What'd your dad think of the movie Over the Top?
He hated it.
Oh, really? He didn't like it?
Yeah, that's funny you bring that up because we made him go see that movie in 1986. Oh, he was pissed at us for that.
I mean, it's not a great movie. Well, it was, in whatever, 87 when it came out.
86, 87, yeah.
It was then. But I found out later, I watched it not too long ago with my youngest, and they could only afford one song in Over the Top. They played it over and over and over again, and I looked it up. Apparently, it's because that's all they could afford.
Really? You talking about the Kenny Loggins song?
Yes.
Meet Me Halfway.
Meet Me Halfway, yeah.
Is that a true story? So whoever made the movie could only afford one song?
I guess, because I was wondering,
That's fascinating.
Boy, they absolutely, I mean, I love Kenny Loggins, but he's got such a wonderful collection of music. Why couldn't they throw a couple other ones in there?
Now that you mention it, yeah, that song comes up about every 4 or 5 minutes.
It's like the only song they play.
It's a beautiful song.
It is.
If you don't know Meet Me by Damn Halfway Across the Woo Stars by Kenny Loggins, it's a tearjerker. It's just a beautiful song. That's a fascinating fact about Over the Top starring Sylvester Stallone and Sylvester Stallone's son?
No, it was not his son.
What? Mm-mm. I just lost $200.
You win again.
I won again, though.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia for Over the Top, though, and they did have a little bit of money left over in the music budget to get a Frank Stallone song in there, too.
Frank would usually...
I wonder what he charged his brother.
Yeah. Please, Sylvester, put it in the movie, please.
I'll pay the rest of the Kenny Loggins licensing fee.
People are texting in Culture Club. I'll tumble for you, sure. I was looking for more Culture Club songs. Do you remember that, Josh?
I remember, yeah.
I'll tumble for you. Good for you. All right, we better get her going. It's a wonderful Tuesday. Nice warm weather and everything. It's just a beautiful thing. I'm so happy to be involved. We'll take a break and return shortly on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
Would count.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
You guys know what we were talking about a few minutes ago.
Over the Top?
That was one of the things
Even
that came
further,
up, the movie.
I should say 20 minutes ago. Yeah, a few minutes ago, we were talking about Over the Top starring Sylvester Stallone and not Sylvester Stallone's kid. But before that, we were talking about who has a better sense of direction, men, women, or a frozen cat turd.
Ooh, now I'm going with the frozen cat turd.
I included the frozen cat turd because one of those probably has a better sense of direction than I do. The answer, according to this particular study, there'll be one out later today that changes everything. You know how those studies go. But the answer, who has a better sense of direction, men, women, or a frozen cat turd, the answer apparently for now is men. But don't get crazy. Like I said, that'll change, and nothing's set in stone. It's just a theory. Got a text message from One Wire Nut Jesus. Apparently his mother, his mama, not the best with directions. He said his mother wanted to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken in Elk River.
Love KFC.
That sounds great. He says you can see it from 169. You can see the KFC from his mother ended up in Cambridge.
Cambridge from Elk River. She never once thought, wow, this is a really long drive.
That's impressive.
Did they move Elk River?
Yeah, my parents had a funny situation a few years ago. They were hosting a family party. I wasn't invited. My brother wasn't invited. My sister wasn't invited. But Big Al was.
That's funny. They invite a friend instead of his own family.
Yeah, if you know the inside workings of my family, you get where I'm going with that. But anyway, they had this family get-together up on Lake Mille Lacs. And some cousins, some of my mother's cousins called. They were like an hour and a half late for the party. Where are these cousins? You know, we got all this food and all these good times to be had. Where the hell are they? They finally got a hold of my folks. They were somewheres west of St. Cloud. Well, we were trying to... What? Lake Mille Lacs, it's one of the biggest holes in the friggin' state. You ended up west of St. Cloud? I mean, what were you using as a map? A frozen cat turd? That's twice with that joke.
Boss Lady Jesus said she knew a guy whose wife got lost in the city. So he had her call an Uber, and then she followed that Uber home. That's how she got home.
That works.
Can you teach me how to get home, please?
You got to get in the car. No, I'll just follow you.
What are you going to do? All right, here we go with the stupid news for today. Here's a New Year's Eve story that just made its way over this way from Brazil. And it's a damn keeper. It is. A dude out there in Brazil got shot in the friggin' skull on New Year's Eve. And the poor bastard didn't realize it until 4 days later. He's a 21-year-old known by the name of Mateus. He was partying on the streets of a town called Cabo Frio this past New Year's Eve. At one point or another, he heard a loud noise, and suddenly his head hurt like hell. And he put his hand up on top of his head, and he felt blood up there. There was a doctor in the crowd, and the doctor helped stop the bleeding, and it sounds to me like he and Mateus both came to the conclusion that Mateus had been hit upside the head by a rock or something like that. You know, there were morons everywhere acting like dildos because it's New Year's Eve. They thought some asshat must have thrown a rock and hit him upside the head. So Mateus just let her buck. He put some ice on his noggin. He went ahead with the drinking and the carrying on. Then the next day, he drove home. The day after that, he went to work. The day after that, he went to work again. And then he drove out of town to meet some friends. So this is the 3rd of January now. It's 4 days. Goes to work for a couple days. And now it's time to go hang out with some friends. And it was only that afternoon that he realized something was wrong with him. His left arm was weaker than usual. He could move it, but it felt weird. Like he didn't have the strength or the coordination to pick anything up with it. So he got worried. He upped and went to the hospital. He told doctors about the rock that plunked him on the cranium. But after the doctors dumped him into one of those CT scan machines, they told him it was not a rock. You got a bullet in your head. The doctors and nurses couldn't believe that this kid had operated mostly normally for 4 days with a 9mm bullet in his dome.
That's so bizarre.
It was in his brains.
I'd hope I'd notice something like that.
I feel like you wouldn't.
Her specifically?
Yeah, actually wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I suppose if you're not having, like relatively minor symptoms there, you're having that, and the doctor says, yeah, you got hit in the head with a rock, why wouldn't you believe him?
The bullet in Mateo's brains had to be surgically removed, and that was risky in the first place. There was a chance he might not make it out of that operation. But he did. They say the bullet was lodged in what they call a less critical part of his brains. All right. But leaving it up there could eventually kill a player. The operation was a success. Mateus is already on his way to a full recovery. That's quite
It's crazy how stuff like that can happen.
Yeah.
Did you guys see there was a video going around maybe last week about the guy playing guitar while he was having his brain operated on, playing some metal songs and stuff?
Yeah. Dude, what are you talking about? They had his skull cracked open, they were playing with his brain, and he's playing a guitar?
Yeah, so they do that so they can, like if all of a sudden he can't play or he starts playing a music genre that sucks, they'll realize, we've tweaked something incorrectly. We gotta move over this way.
That's smart.
That's
You're playing the Goo Goo Dolls. Oh my God, we've screwed up his brain. Who would do that?
That's absolutely fascinating. I've never heard of anything like that in my entire life.
Not too long ago, there was I don't know if she was an opera, some sort of singer, a girl. Same thing. They had her start singing, and then they knew if they
singing
bumped into something else that maybe we got the wrong part of the brain.
Wow. Same kind of theory there. If you start singing something that sucks, they know there's trouble. So if suddenly she starts going,
Love Shack, baby, love, then they know, uh-oh.
Yeah. You know what? The song that crossed my mind first, just an awful, terrible, awful song. That three non-blondes with the hey, yeah, was something.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Four non-blondes? You forgot one of them.
I would think, okay, we've hit a bad spot here if they start singing the three non-blondes with the what's going on skis. A while back, Cubby, do you remember talking about some effing guy that walked around for 20 years with a bullet in his brain pile?
Yeah.
Wasn't he a soldier?
That one was, this was the like a Chinese soldier, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that one looked like it was barely in there versus this other dude who, that's right in the middle of his brain.
Yeah, that's truly remarkable.
The story also mentioned the guy who lived with a spoon in his esophagus, also a Chinese guy, for a year. Didn't realize he swallowed a spoon somehow.
How would you forget that?
I'm not sure.
Whatever happened to that spoon? Oh, right, esophagus.
Man. I mean, I'm definitely unobservant. But something like that, I would hope that I'd be able to pay attention.
Yeah, you'd think so. I wake in the morning and I step outside. No, Ashley, please, don't.
It's kind of catchy.
Oh, most definitely.
We've talked about this dude before. Maybe some of you remember. Some of you maybe don't. Uncle Chen, the chain-smoking Chinese marathon runner?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He's got rules. Folks in China call him Uncle Chen. He runs marathons. For some stupid reason, he should have his brain checked, that everyone else who runs marathons should have their brains checked. I don't get that gimmick. But this Uncle Chen from China, he runs marathons, and he burns heaters while he runs. And he's damn good at doing both at once. But he's been disqualified from his latest race, meaning he ran the damn thing, but will have his name erased from the final results because he had a smoke in his yap throughout the entire race. Earlier this year, he ran a full 26.2-mile marathon at 52 years old, by the way. He finished in 3 hours and 33 minutes while chain smoking his nuts off. The picture I saw of this guy it's a riot.
It is. He looks cool.
He is cool. Smoking on the track was the reason for his disqualification. The marathon committee, whoever they are, they issued a statement announcing the disqualification of Uncle Chen for violating a section of the marathon rules and regulations. Here's the exact article. It states uncivilized behavior from runners, such as open defecation, smoking, or trampling on flower beds or green spaces that affect the race and the safety of other runners will result in disqualification.
Those are three very different specific things.
Unless you openly defecate on some flowers, you combine them somehow.
True.
I've never heard a story of somebody openly defecating. You certainly hear about the diarrhea trails that can be left.
Yeah, emergencies.
Yeah, things like that.
But haven't we heard a story where someone just pulled over? That's not the right term in marathon running. Someone just stopped running and moved off to the side of the track and just took a dump right then and there. I thought we had read.
Yeah, it was someone's yard too.
Oh, it was in somebody's yard.
Yeah, I think it was the Boston Marathon, and some runner pulled off to the side and just laid one down.
Yeah, but it was a little different though, right? They ran through like an alley, and it wasn't part of it wasn't on like the race, the official race.
The track.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that sumbitch. He took a deuce, and some old lady's looking out her window. What are you doing? Taking a crap in my... What are you, a golden retriever? Uncle Chen is, like I said, he's pretty good at this. Smoking and running marathons. He finished 574th out of more than 1,500 runners.
Dude.
It's damn good.
Yeah.
He's been at this for a while. Uncle Chen has run many marathons over there. He previously had been allowed to run while smoking. But there's some new rules in effect now to promote health and all that boring stuff. Some folks are pretty pissed about this, saying, let Uncle Chen burn him if he wants to.
Yeah, I don't really get it. Unless some people are saying it opens your airwaves,
excuse me,
which
I don't know.
It's not like he won the thing, but...
I like the way this next statement comes off on the topic of Uncle Chen and his cigarette smoking while running marathons. Many applaud Uncle Chen for being able to complete the races while actively harming himself.
Running while smoking seems like it'd be kind of difficult.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't do either, but I agree with you. It seems like it would be.
It'd be tough to get it to light a couple times there.
Good point.
Yeah, if you're really cooking, I suppose.
You got to do the thing where you light it in your shirt.
I love that stuff. It's fun to watch.
Ever had an accident doing that, Wapple?
Yeah, I burnt a snowboard jacket one time that way.
You did?
Melted it a little bit. That's the only way you can smoke a cigarette on the chairlifts.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you're not like...
You're up there with the wind blowing.
Yeah, or a oney.
Yep.
You're up there with the damn wind blowing.
Are you the only snowboarder that smokes weed?
I think so.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Yeah. I don't think surfers do it either.
Michael here texted in and said they need to have Dana backpack stations set up throughout a race so runners complete. Yes. In an emergency situation, Dana once did poop in his own backpack.
Mm-hmm. In an alley. It was one of my proudest moments.
Man. You and I could trade some stories. All right, here's a young fella from New York who has a worse pull-out game than my cousin. He's gone ahead and knocked up 5 different women's at the same damn time.
Oh, that's a bummer.
He's a 22-year-old. So apparently this kid wanted the happiest and most carefree days of his life to be short-lived and end abruptly. The story says he goes by the name of Zeddy Will, and he's some kind of musician. So I guess the reason he's being talked about is because he somehow convinced all 5 of these pregnant women to be cordial with each other long enough for all of them to have one big fat-ass joint baby shower.
Whoa.
That's a talent in itself, that he facilitated that. He's a cool-looking dude.
It says here that the baby shower took place a week ago, and I believe everyone survived. Zeddy Will and all 5 of his pregnant women's. Social media dorks are all over this. There are easy Nick Cannon comparisons being thrown around at an unhealthy rate. Zeddy Will's ladies, who are all pretty ladies.
Oh, yeah.
They are. Their names are Ashley, Bonnie B, Kay Marie, Jylene, something or another, and Iyanla Khalifa. They say that they have, quote, accepted each other for the good of the babies.
The greater good.
That's impressive.
Well, give it time.
Yeah, that would not be me.
This is going to be an absolute disaster before it's all said and done. This silly D, what's his name again? Frankie V.
Something
Zeddy?
Will.
Zeddy Will.
Zeddy Will.
He's smiling in the photo I saw of him. That will not last. This kid...
There's another photo of him where he looks a little scared.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until they actually come and you realize that they're real human beings.
Skippy G is in real trouble. No way he lives to be 40 years old. Who wants to put money on this?
No way.
I think this is funny. Social media dorks have called this setup embarrassing and gross.
It's a good way to describe it.
I like that. It's just gross. What have you done, Skippy G? 5 women at once. And, I mean, think of this, too. He's young. He's this budding musician. What do you think? How do you think the overall vibe changes in 5 years when Skippy G's music aspirations have dummied down a little bit? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not this up-and-coming musician. Maybe he's got to work a regular job. My God, it's going to be a bloodbath. Don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, I think a lot of legal stuff's going to get in the way, too, to make it a little uncomfortable.
5 at once? That breaks my cousin's county record. He held the record at 3 pregnant women at once. Skippy G just blasted that right out of the water. Speaking of the water, the locals down there in Tampa Bay, effing Florida, have been complaining about a terrible racket in town, and nobody could figure out where the hell it was coming from. Folks said it was like a deep, bassy sound. Oh, Cubby knows this. My favorite bassy type sound is the bass line from the only true great rap song ever made, and that's the Humpty Dance created by the late great Shock G and Digital Underground. I think the bass line goes, dear, dear, rip. I love you, Shock G, and I miss you. All right, so anyway, that bassy sound. Bothering folks in Tampa Bay, scientists had to step up and say that the sound is fish out there in the bay banging each other's fish brains loose. Dear, dear, rip.
They got a good pace going.
That's the sound right there that they're hearing in town, Cubby?
Mm-hmm.
Fish banging. Locals have been hearing that sound, what, for 3 years?
Oh, I'd go crazy.
They can last a long time.
That's what it says here. I missed this the first time around. They've been hearing that sound periodically since 20+21, and up until now, no one could figure it out. A fella called James something or another, he's a local marine scientist or something like that. He said the sound is coming from black drumfish in the bay. He said the fish produce throbbing sounds during their mating season by how hard they tap that ass. You can hear it from a mile away, he said. So I guess that's the story they're sticking with, and life goes on.
How weird would that be if maybe, there's some people that might have been scared, right? Is this a rogue government about to attack? There's some conspiracy theories out there, and it's just horny fish.
That is something. This here next story, again with the fish, some of you might be saying. You folks already know how the young people operate these days. Their mindset is whatever it takes to get noticed on social media. And yes, that aggravates the hell out of me, and yes, it's pathetic. But, like I said last week, I can appreciate the ones who come up with a gimmick that doesn't seriously F with anybody else's business. I can have just a little bit of appreciation for the ones who aren't running over your fence or kicking your ass for the knockout game or whatever.
There's some good pranks out there.
In Salt Lake City, Utah, a teenage kid is in trouble for allegedly taping fish to things.
Okay.
And then, of course, he records everything and hangs it up online. It sounds like he mostly tapes fish to cash machines. Once in a while, he tapes a fish to a cop car, just to mix things up. I think trout is his go-to species of fish. The local cops are saying that there's been 13 separate instances where fish has been taped to an ATM or other objects. There's an Instagram account that you can dial up. It's titled Fish Bandit 84. And the bio for the account has a motto. You got anyone have a great motto they want to share with us?
Oh, there's the famous "Whoever smelt it dealt it," of course. That's the one that comes to mind for me.
The bio for the account has a motto. It says, "Live, laugh, tape fish on ATMs."
That's beautiful.
I like that one.
Very specific.
One of the comments on the Instagram page says, "There is a diabolical new anti-hero roaming the streets." That's good. According to cops, this teenage kid, fish taper, is 17 years old. He's facing 2 charges of property damage. Well, that's not good. Some of the fish in these videos, some of the taped fish, have cigarettes in their mouths.
Fish don't usually smoke cigarettes.
So this kid's really got something cooking, but he might end up getting arrested. We had a cute fish prank back in high school. It was prank day. Senior prank day, I think it was.
Yep.
We were only sophomores, but we were dialed into how this particular... Well, no, it must not have been the prank day, because that's at the end of the year. This was in the dead of winter. So for whatever reason, one of my buddies, who's now in a insane asylum, just for the record, one of my buddies went out one night onto Lake Minnetonka and caught like 100 friggin' sunfish, you know. And he brought a bunch of them to school. And he had them in his backpack. And we're putting them in the water fountains. We're putting them in the toilets. We're putting them on teachers' chairs. It was this full day of sunfish pranks. We had a riot. It was great. But the best part of the day was come lunchtime. We had the a la carte set up at high school. You follow where I'm going with that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just like at Subway nowadays, you got the glass that separates you and the server, you know. And we get into the a la carte line and we see, you know, we had 2 choices that day, lasagna or tacos, whatever. And my buddy pulls this frozen sunfish out of his jacket. Did I mention that it was ice fishing and they were frozen? I'm sorry if I didn't.
He said it was the dead of winter.
Dead of winter. You know, my buddy ice fishing. So all these sunfish were frozen that we were putting all over the school. My buddy put one of them in his jacket. So we walk up to the lunch lady, and when the lunch lady turned her back, my buddy goes on the other side of that counter and he puts a frozen sunfish right on top of the lasagna, right? And then he races back into line before she noticed him. And she still didn't notice it. And she looks us dead in the eye and says, "What do you boys want, lasagna or tacos?" And my buddy goes, "Well, I'll take the fish." And she says, "I just told you, we don't have fish. We have lasagna or..." Ah! And she sees the fish on top of the... We had a great time.
Bet she loved that.
Oh, she was pissed. And we got in trouble. All right.
They took the senior prank away from us. We were the first class where they weren't allowed to do it. I can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they put up with it for generations. But then when we got there, somebody must have done something that I'm not aware of that was bad enough where they said, "All right, we're sick of this. We're done."
We weren't allowed to do anything that wasn't pre-approved. And then the day of, there would be a line. It would take forever to get into school because everybody had to have their backpacks checked.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens when someone brings like a military-grade smoke bomb into school, though, and lights that off the years prior. So
my school said that if anybody participated in a senior skip day or a senior prank, we wouldn't be allowed to walk at graduation.
That was what they told us.
Yeah.
That sucks.
We also had this thing called the senior run, where the last day of school, the seniors would get let out early and they would run around the whole school. And they stopped that the year before us because they took down a wall.
Love that.
We set 2 pigs loose in our high school. One of them we put a number 1 on it, and the other one we put a number 3 on it. I'm kidding, but I hear that story anytime we talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here's how hooked the young people are on fingering their cellular telephones all damn day. A middle school in North Carolina has gone ahead and removed mirrors from the bathrooms to stop kids from making TikTok videos. The school is called Southern. It doesn't matter. It's a school in North Carolina. Junior high. Did I say that? Middle school. Yeah, junior high. This is a junior high in North Carolina. They say students are going to the bathroom for long periods of time and making TikTok videos. Here's what I read. Teachers noticed that kids were asking to use the bathroom up to 9 times a day.
Whoa.
And taking way longer than necessary when up in there.
That's a lot.
They say the students, mirrors were often featured in these TikTok videos. And the grown folks at the school, the teachers and administrators, whoever's running things, say that the mirrorless bathrooms have already worked. Not as many kids are going to the John, and when they do, they're not hanging out in there all day long.
A lot of unpopped zits in that school at this point.
Oh,
Just gotta leave them alone. You don't see, you can't see what you're doing.
Yuck.
What?
Unpopped zits.
Gross.
What's gross about big pussy zits? You guys are nasty.
Some parents of the children at this school, they have what they think is an easier alternative. They say just take the phones away from the kids as they walk into class. You know, make a no phones allowed rule. Well, then someone from the school said, we do have a no phones allowed rule, but your friggin' kids keep bringing the phone. So there you go. They're having problems with the TikTok videos and the unpopped zits. We used to do some drinking during class. Well, I mean, not sitting in class, but we used to do some drinking during school. You know, we would go out in the parking lot, or we would just leave all together. We had an open campus. If you had an hour or two off, or even if you didn't have an hour or two off, you just skip class, go to someone's house, do some drinking. Maybe you had to be there. But my buddy Big Phil, I walked into the bathroom later in the day, and Big Phil walks into the bathroom, and it was obvious that he had been doing some drinking that day. They didn't invite me. I was kind of pissed off. But Big Phil spent a hell of a long time. He's all buzzed up. He spent a hell of a long time staring at himself in the mirror. And, of course, it was 1989, so he had beautiful long blonde hair. And Phil's he's brushing his hair with his hand, and he's tucking his hair behind his ear, and he's checking himself out. And I said, dude, you know, what the hell are you doing? And he says exactly this. I'm looking pretty good these days.
It's adorable.
Mm-hmm. And he was.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Major League Baseball's Cardinals play their home games at this sudsy arena. Brian.
What is Budweiser?
No. Aaron.
What is Anheuser?
Also incorrect. Rachel, maybe not a baseball fan. Aaron, so close. It's Busch Stadium.
You friggin' dopes. You don't know Busch Stadium? What's that show called again?
Jeopardy. That was from Friday's episode. Those are the ones that get internet attention when they don't know sports questions. It seems like these really bright people don't know anything about sports.
No, they don't. Who's the guy running that program now?
Ken Jennings.
You know what I've noticed from these clips, like the one you were just talking about, Josh, where folks just suck. He's not shy about smart-mouthing them.
No.
Mm-mm.
Alex Trebek was kind of like that too.
Oh, I never watched that program.
He was, people would talk about that with him too.
He would pop off.
You guys, don't know that one. All right, let me just tell you what it is. That's Busch Stadium.
I like it when they pop off. I'm not ready to talk about the Timberwolves yet.
You got to cool down?
I'm not emotionally stable enough to have a grown folks conversation about what the Wolves did to me last night.
That makes sense.
So we will save it for later. It was just awful. That's all I'm going to say for now. It was just absolutely awful.
You're acting like one of the guys scored an incredible, like a record-setting amount of points, and they still lost last night.
It's kind of how I'm behaving, isn't it?
You are behaving like that.
Yeah. Randy Shaver's sick. We're not expecting to hear from Randy again. We wish him well. Get well soon, ass man. So I don't know who's going to join us in a half hour. Is Brad Ryder around?
Yep,
Anyone
Brad's going to be. Mm-hmm. He's going to be with us.
Brad Ryder.
Yes.
That's the guy.
That's great. Tonight, Golden Gopher basketball's at home against Wisconsin. That'll probably piss me off, too.
Art sport's great.
Golden Gopher ladies hoops are at Wisconsin. So at 6 o'clock on the Big Ten Network, you can watch the Dudes versus Wisco, and then right after that, the Czechs versus Wisco. The Prigs are at home. Pigs is what I meant to say, at home against the Washington Capitals tonight. 5 o'clock tonight, we find out who's going into the Baseball Hall of Fame this year. And, of course, Joe Mauer is on the ballot for the first time. We talked to him last week. Things were looking good. It's a very exciting day for the Mauer family. We will take a break. Josh's News is coming up.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
Business has always been about Fast Morning Show. 93X.
Definitely crazy. I've never seen a fight that big before at St. Louis Park. There's always kind of been fights here. Definitely last year there were some. I'm surprised to hear about school closing down the next day for sure.
Students at St. Louis Park High School were back in class yesterday after 2 fights closed the campus on Friday.
And I got punched again from the other side, and then one student grabbed me by my neck, and she tossed me, and then we was on the floor, and then it was just kicks, punches. In my head, it felt like it was going on forever.
The school district said there will be more police both inside and outside the high school as students return, and there will also be more school administrators on campus to try and keep the peace. These measures are in response to 2 fights we talked about last week. Apparently, they broke out Thursday night. The district said in an email 2 adult women involved in those fights who were not employees were arrested and have since been banned from school property. The district said they're investigating the 2 fights and they're asking anyone with video of the incidents to come forward to help officials determine what happened and why.
Must have been one hell of a brawl.
Yeah. Guess so. Students at Wadena Deer Creek Public Schools didn't have in-person classes yesterday due to a threat. The district posted on social media saying classes for all grades canceled after the district became aware of the threat and began investigating. Other threats have closed down schools and other buildings this month as well. As mentioned before, a library in Dakota County closed its doors after receiving a threat of violence over the phone January 9th. And Fergus Falls Public Schools and Grand Meadow Schools canceled classes last week due to threats of violence there.
Wadena.
That's what they said.
I'll be damned. That's a poke up that away.
An armed robber in California was mere seconds away from walking out of a 7-Eleven with a bag full of cash when a police officer walked through the convenience store's front doors purely by coincidence.
As I entered the store, I saw the fear in his face and I knew something was up. Sort of processing it like, is this really happening?
Started about 8:30 p.m. Wednesday night when 48-year-old Ramon Gonzalez allegedly walked into a shop and pointed a gun at the clerk. He ordered the cashier to open the register and empty the cash into a black plastic bag. According to the West Covina Police Department, Sergeant Hernandez just so happened to walk through the front doors as the cashier began stuffing the bag with about $400. He nonchalantly walked toward the back of the shop but noticed something was wrong. When the clerk alerted him about the armed robbery right as he started to walk out of the store, the sergeant quickly pulled his firearm and chased the suspect. He eventually caught up to him and found the suspect's loaded handgun.
It was really good reaction from the police officer because he caught eye. Most people, normal people, just walk in and don't pay attention. The police officer was on point.
Thank God there was a police officer there to save the day.
The unlucky Gonzalez, who was arrested and booked for felon in possession of a firearm, robbery, and carrying a concealed weapon, is facing several charges.
Yeah, you're in trouble now.
What a dope.
Mm-hmm.
Police were seeking 3 men they call Larry, Curly, and Moe, a nod to the legendary characters from the slapstick comedy act The Three Stooges, after the Texas trio skid and slid their way into an armed robbery of a Texas fast food joint. This is a video you can see on 93x.com. It's quite entertaining. The masked suspects threatened employees of a Beaumont, Texas Popeye's Chicken with handguns and demanded money shortly before 9 a.m. New Year's Eve. Their slippery slope into criminal life started with a tumble from the first suspect. Then the second one tripped over him. The third suspect looked like a new skater on the ice for the first time, but he regained his balance in time to avoid the human pile of burglars in front of him. The Beaumont Police Department had some fun on social media, asking the public if they recognized, quote, these three stooges that came and left in a blue vehicle seen at the start of surveillance video, which was posted on Facebook. The suspects were later seen in the video grabbing an unknown amount of money before taking off.
So the nerves just got the better of them and they were tripping all over each other during this caper?
I wonder if the floor was freshly mopped or something.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I mean, that's the kind of slipping it looked like. They just lost their grip.
Yes?
Oh, those floors get super slippery, especially when you have a little bit of grease on it, so I can definitely see that.
It's got to be what happened there. A Florida man got busted after he forgot to brush off the meth from his driver's license when he handed over to cops during a traffic stop.
I hate when that happens.
Polk County Sheriff's Office deputies noticed the tailgate on a pickup truck was covering a license plate, so they pulled the driver, 46-year-old Robert Brush, over and asked for his license. When he handed it over, deputies noticed a white crystalline substance on it. Police say cards like driver's licenses are often used to break up drugs, so the deputy tested the substance and it came back positive for meth. Brush claimed he didn't know there was any drugs on the license and said there was nothing illegal in the car, but there was something illegal in the car, and wouldn't you know it, it was meth. Tucked away between the driver's seat and the center console, cops found a baggie filled with what appeared to be a large amount of the same substance on the license. It came back positive for meth. Robert Brush's brush with the law resulted in his arrest, all because of a minor traffic infraction, and Mr. Brush's inability to brush off his license caused him to go to jail, the Polk County Sheriff's Office quipped. Amazingly, it's not the first time someone has handed over their license covered with an illegal substance, they wrote. Brush has been a frequent visitor to jail over the years. Records show he's been lodged there over 50 times since 1997.
He knows his way around.
He sure does. An off-duty NYPD cop was busted last week for driving drunk with an empty can of White Claw found underneath her seat, and she would have gotten away with it had she not been driving on the sidewalk.
Oh.
Police easily spotted the 42-year-old incoherent cop behind the wheel of a Hyundai Santa Fe on an East Village sidewalk about 1:30 a.m. Wednesday. When the sober officers made contact with her, the 15-year department veteran was unable to answer questions and had slurred speech. Police then recovered an open whiskey bottle under the floor mat in the back seat, and the boozed-up cop refused to take a breathalyzer. She was suspended without pay after Wednesday's incident.
Well, so long, sucker.
Yeah, she's in a bit of trouble. A Brooklyn Park man is charged in a drunk driving incident where he registered a blood alcohol content almost 5 times the legal limit. Woo-wee. That is Brooklyn Park drunk. The 31-year-old was taken into custody following the crash just before 6 p.m. December 15th. According to the criminal complaint, police found a shooter style of a bottle of vodka in the center console of the car, with the suspect allegedly telling an officer he threw out other alcohol as well. He claimed he was driving his Mercedes when he was struck by another driver who fled the scene. Other witnesses said the man was in the left lane trying to turn right when he entered the other lane and struck a vehicle, not the other way around as he had described to police. The impact of that collision caused the other vehicle to strike a median and then a sign. When asked how much he had to drink that evening, he said he was sober while driving but did consume alcohol after the incident. As he proceeded to perform poorly on field sobriety tests, he voluntarily stopped and said, "I'm drunk as F, man."
It doesn't take long to have a festering and growing frustration at the things that are preventable. And so when we show up at these fatal crashes as cops, deputies, troopers, every single one of them is preventable.
Earlier this month, it was announced during a holiday campaign which started the day before Thanksgiving and ended after New Year's, Minnesota troopers, deputies, and officers arrested a total of 2,432 Minnesotans.
Alcohol-related crashes contribute to an average of 341 life-changing injuries each year. Drug driving DUI incidents have nearly doubled in the last 5 years compared to the previous 5 years. Impaired is impaired, regardless of the substance.
The highest recorded BAC was reported in Lakeville at 0.46. Then in Florida, a 22-year-old woman was charged with a DUI after slamming her car into the front of a shopping center Sunday morning. According to authorities, just before 7 a.m., the drunken woman's car veered out of control, crossed a median, crossed the eastbound lanes, and jumped a curb into the shopping center, where it plowed through the front door of a dental office, eventually coming to a rest at a Skyline Chili restaurant next door.
Who in the hell put that shopping center there?
I wasn't here last time.
A bride and groom spent their wedding night in bed with about 30 of their guests after they fell 25 feet through the floor of their Italian reception venue and ended up in a hospital bed for the night. Video from the January 13th reception showed guests dancing and jumping as music blared at the venue when a huge hole suddenly opened up. Dozens of guests immediately fell through the ground below.
Really? One of those big old suck holes, sink holes, whatever?
Yeah, took them out.
God dang.
You can see the video on 93x.com. Among those who fell were the newlyweds. 37 others at the wedding also received medical treatment. 28 of them remained in the hospital the next day. The couple are now suing the venue as local prosecutors investigate whether the establishment is guilty of any negligence. The owners say they don't understand how the collapse could have happened, describing it as a tragic and unpredictable event, but they added they will fully cooperate with any investigation.
It's a hell of a way to go out.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. Luckily, everybody survived.
Memorable wedding.
The Laconia, New Hampshire Daily Sun reported that on January 5th, police were called to a place called Market Basket, a supermarket, after what they called a fruity fracas broke out in the produce section. Social media posts indicated that a watermelon had been used in an assault, and Police Sergeant Andrew Salmon said that a person went to the hospital with a non-life-threatening injury from being struck with a produce item, the watermelon.
Oh, no.
A worker who answered the phone at the store said, "We've been instructed not to say anything." No further details surround how the fruit fight began.
Well, I bet I could knock you into next week with a damn watermelon.
I would think so. A man was arrested in Southern California Saturday night after he allegedly got naked and threatened patrons at a gym. Police arrested the 31-year-old after he brandished a knife at a Planet Fitness at about 5 p.m. When police arrived, they found the man in the locker room without clothing and holding the knife. He allegedly pointed the knife at gym patrons who were also in the locker room. Investigators didn't say why the man had come to the gym or why he had a knife.
Why he was stark-ass naked.
In addition to his alleged actions at the gym, investigators determined the same man was a suspect in an unrelated case of battery.
Where are all those jacked up MMA guys when we need them?
Seriously.
They would have choked that sumbitch to death in no time.
And in New York, a man urinating on a parked car in Manhattan slashed a passerby who told him to stop, sending the 66-year-old victim to the hospital.
He just cut a dude that was walking by?
Yeah, the guy apparently said, "Hey, don't be peeing on that car," and then he took out a box cutter and cut him up.
0 to 100, very fast.
A well-known actor found himself in the hospital after he suffered heart attack symptoms caused by toxic caterpillars during a trip to Portugal last year.
As I was lying there, one of the other lads I was with went past on a hospital bed with doctors shouting the same questions to him. Got out of hospital, got back to the house, and my mate turned up back, and his name happens to be Jamie Dornan.
Yes, that Jamie Dornan, the 50 Shades of Grey actor, whose health scare was revealed by his friend Gordon Smart, who was also rushed to the hospital after experiencing the same symptoms at a golfing resort.
Went off with some pals on a golfing holiday to Portugal. First day, loads of golf, went out, lots of wine, was drunk. Then we got into espresso martinis, and I started to feel tingling in my left hand, then tingling in my left arm, and I'd been the son of a GP. I thought, this is normally the sign of the start of a heart attack. So I said to the boys, "Look, do you mind dropping me at the medical centre? I don't want to alarm anybody, but I think I'm having a heart attack."
Recalling their nightmare getaway on a podcast called The Good, the Bad, and the Unexpected, Smart revealed to their surprise they were told their symptoms were caused by a run-in with a toxic caterpillar.
At any stage, did you come in contact with caterpillars on the golf course? And he sent me a link to an article from the Portugal Times about processionary caterpillars. And it turns out that there are caterpillars on golf courses in the south of Portugal that have been killing people's dogs and giving men in their 40s heart attacks.
Turns out everyone's okay, and the medical personnel didn't seem to mind having a celebrity in their care.
As he left hospital, the paramedics asked him for a selfie, which isn't really what you want when you're being wheeled out of a hospital room.
The caterpillars they encountered have thousands of tiny hairs which contain an irritating protein which can cause painful skin, eye, and throat irritations and apparently heart attack-like symptoms.
I'll show you something with thousands of tiny hairs. Do you know that guy, Josh? You're familiar with that?
Jamie Dornan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with him. That's about as far as I can go with that.
I recognize the name. I don't think I've seen much of his work.
Yeah, I've seen pictures. I know he was in 50 Shades movies.
I like the way he says caterpillars.
How did he say? I couldn't make out a word he was saying.
That was
Very
his buddy.
British and cute.
Oh, that was his buddy, Gordon Smart.
What did he say? How did he say caterpillars?
Just very British and cute.
Oh, okay.
In what's become an annual winter tradition, hundreds of people carrying torches set fire to a giant wooden beetle effigy in Custer, South Dakota, to raise awareness of the destructive impact of the mountain pine beetle on forest land in the Black Hills.
If you've never been in a group of people with 200 torches marching to go burn something up, that's an experience that you might want to try in your life sometime.
Firefighters prepared and lighted the torches for residents to carry in a march to the pyre Saturday night in the 11th Burning Beetle Fest.
There's a gentleman in town, Carl Sevenson, and he said, I think I can build a beetle maybe 16, 20 feet long. Maybe if we put it on top of a pyre of dead trees, maybe we could turn this into something.
What the hell are these dorks talking about?
People set the tall beetle effigy on fire amid drum beats and chants. Burn, beetle, burn! Burn, beetle, burn, they chanted. The U.S. Forest Service calls the mountain pine beetle the most aggressive, persistent, and destructive bark beetle in the western United States and Canada. The Black Hills have experienced several outbreaks of the beetle since the 1890s, the most recent being from 96 to 2016, affecting 703 square miles. The event, which includes a talent show and bug crawl, supports the local arts.
A talent show?
Sure does.
You could bring your guitar.
I don't know, not anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe back in the day.
About play a show for the nerds.
Burn, beetle, burn.
Orkin just posted its 2024 list of the top 50 cities for bed bugs in the U.S. Chicago, number 1 for the 4th year in a row. And making its first appearance on the list, again, of the top cities for bed bugs, Minneapolis.
Oh, no.
Which came in at 47.
Look at us.
Yeah,
we did it, you guys.
Finally.
Gross.
A Virginia woman's visit to a Norfolk restaurant left her family disturbed by what they saw in the kitchen. It wasn't scurrying vermin. It wasn't poor food preparation. It was two people giving it to each other real good as customers were eating. The mother of a 14-year-old boy who first saw what was going on said she had video to prove it. She pulled out her phone and started recording what appeared to be people engaged in sexual relations. I said, "We see you," and then they froze, the mother said. Apparently, the couple offered her $300 in free food to keep quiet, but she didn't. Police charged both the man and woman with contributing to the delinquency of a minor, since the 14-year-old is who saw them first.
Oh.
Yep. Can't do that, I guess.
Just bumping.
Yeah, I guess they were going for it. Officials are warning residents about scammers impersonating a local sheriff's office. The Becker County Sheriff's Office released an alert regarding the scammer Saturday, saying the scammer calls residents using the sheriff's office phone number and informs them they've missed a court date and are facing a warrant for their arrest. This old crime. He then tells residents, well, he or she, I guess I don't know, then tells residents they can get out of the warrant with a payment and provides payment information. This is a scam. The Becker County Sheriff's Office will not ask for payment over the phone, the alert read. Residents receiving the call are encouraged to report it.
And my mother keeps getting this phone call from scammers. "Grandma, is that you? I've been kidnapped."
Really?
Oh, she's getting one of those?
Help.
Oh, that's so scary.
Those are terrible. I mean, they're all terrible, but man, that's awful.
And she says, goodbye.
I bet it doesn't work on people like her who don't like their grandkids.
Yeah, right. Good.
That's their problem.
Calling the wrong lady.
Yeah, that's not the grandma it's going to work out on. When you open a box of chicken wings from a restaurant, even Dana's beloved boneless ones, you expect wings, not a wad of counterfeit money. But on Wednesday, a 26-year-old man stashed the fake currency that he made in his chicken wing box. Police in Florida made contact with two men in their car in a fast food chicken restaurant parking lot. While talking to them, an officer detected an odor of marijuana and discovered one of the men had an outstanding warrant. A deputy then detained Brian Chapman and searched the vehicle. When the officer opened a chicken wing box, he found it filled with counterfeit money, along with finding a firearm in a black trash bag. He admitted to producing and possessing the fake currency and copped to being in possession of the firearm, which he wasn't allowed to have. He's facing multiple charges, which could lock him up for a large chunk of time.
Large chunk of time.
Making his own money there. They figured that one out pretty easy.
Sports on on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Obviously, we're going to try to feed a hot hand, look for a hot hand, but at some point, we got to get back to making the right play. We got to get back to doing the right things. Like I said, there's a lot of ways to be immature. There's always a lot of ways to be immature, and there was a lot of immature performances here throughout the roster. We totally disrespected the game, ourselves, and we got exactly what we deserved.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we wish Randy Shaver well. Word is he's sick as a dog. It's terrible diarrhea.
Oh, I don't think that's what it is.
So he won't be able to join us on today's broadcast. So Brad Ryder has again volunteered to hang around and jaw jack with us a little bit. Hi, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Good morning. Yes, I told Waffle I'll be doubling my salary this week.
You know what? Triple it.
Yeah.
Okay,
treat yourself.
thank you. Appreciate
You ought to. You ought to. I'm actually kind of surprised that Randy hasn't been sending us pictures of his diarrhea because nobody loves poop humor more than Randy Shaver.
He likes to pretend he doesn't, though.
He likes to pretend a lot of things, Ashley. A lot of we hope Randy starts to feel better soon. How you feeling, Brad?
Yeah, I know I'm feeling good. Knock on wood. I'm feeling fine.
You need to almost play the role of my emotional support monkey this morning.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that based on what I know we're leading off with, but go for it.
I mean, I earlier this morning, I wasn't emotionally ready to talk about what the Timberwolves did to me last night. I think I'm ready now.
Okay.
But it ain't going to be easy, by damn. It won't. Because the Wolves just effed themselves into another disappointing loss at home. And it was on a night that they should have been celebrating something special. And you heard in the intro how upset their head coach, Chris Finch, was over the whole schmear. Did you up and watch last night's ball game, Brad Ryder?
So I didn't. I wasn't watching the first half, and I had a couple buddies text me and say, Cat has 44 points with 3 minutes left in the first half, and I'm like, no way. So I turned it on at that point. So I think I missed the best parts of it because from that point on, obviously it looked like he forced things a little bit too much. But I did watch the second half. So
he had a glorious first half, and you're right, you missed the good stuff. He was pouring in 3-pointers. I think he went 8 of 9 from the 3-point line in the first half. 44 points. He's driving the lane. He's dunking on these fools from the Charlotte Hornets. Now, Carl did set a franchise record for points in a game. He scored 62 damn points. But the fellas played another absolutely awful fourth quarter and lost the ball game to the Charlotte Hornets by 3 points. That's back-to-back home games where even a decent fourth quarter would have won them the game. But they've just been unbearably bad the last 2 games in the fourth.
Well, first of all, I give Finch, there's 2 things here. I give Finch a lot of credit for being as honest as he was in the post game, because some coaches would try to protect the players a little bit and not say what he said, but he was honest, and that's exactly what happened. But on the other hand, if you're the coach, why can't you do something about that when you see it happening? Everybody could see it happening. He could see it happening. What I mean by that is, 4 or 5 minutes ago, when you see this start to happening, why can't you do anything about it? So on one hand, I give him credit, but on the other hand, I question why he didn't do a little bit more about it, I guess, in game.
I see your point.
I think Carl went 2 for 10 in the fourth quarter. I mean, if you've lost it, if you're getting cold, you should not be taking 10 shots in the fourth quarter. In that last possession, I don't care if Carl scored 88 points in the game. Anthony Edwards gets the ball. I'm sorry. I mean, that's who gets the ball for the last shot. I know it was his night. I know he scored 63 points, but it was pretty clear that he had cooled off at that point, and Edwards has to take that shot. He has to be the guy to take those shots at the end of the game.
I'm okay with Carl taking that shot, especially last night. Did you see Edwards last night? He was absolutely reluctant to shoot the ball at every turn. He was reluctant to shoot the ball.
And I know he was under the weather. I get it, but he was the only guy who was scoring in the fourth quarter, and
he had a couple of baskets. They only score 18 points in the fourth quarter. Again, Charlotte scored 38 points in the fourth quarter to the Wolves 18. It's just awful.
Yeah, I would have. I would have run that play through him 10 out of 10 times because Charlotte may be thinking Carl's going to get the ball too, and I'd rather have Edwards taking the ball to the hoop than Carl because, again, as we saw, I mean, whether there was a foul or not, I don't care. I mean, he flails and tries to, with the theatrics, tries to draw fouls where Edwards would have just taken it to the hoop and probably either scored or gotten legitimately fouled.
They fouled the hell out of Carl on that last shot, but that's not the point of what happened last night. The point was they were up 107-89 going into the fourth quarter, and then the ball stops moving, just like the game against Oklahoma City. The ball stops moving. It was a little different last night because you're right. Carl was going for the record. He wasn't thinking about team play. He's forcing up bad shots. They're turning the ball over, and the Hornets were just dropping in buckets like they were on vacation.
Didn't they have, weren't they up 16 at one point in the fourth
16
quarter?
or 17. Well, at least at the beginning of the fourth quarter. 107-89 was at the end of the third. Someone do the arithmetic. It was a horrible, horrible ending to what should have been a great night.
Well, last night, to me, is the type of game that kind of perfectly summarizes his career. He's capable of going for 63. He's an immense talent. But then he's also capable of losing you the game because of things he does down the stretch of games, too.
The whole thing was so strange. It was so strange to watch.
How can you score 63 points, too, and have a plus-minus of 0? That basically means you hurt your team on defense as much as you help them on offense.
A great personal night for one player turned into a nightmare.
Yeah.
And what do they have next? At Washington, I think, tomorrow night. I was so pissed off this morning, I didn't even bother writing down. Don't they play Washington tomorrow night on the road?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
What a disaster. What a disaster. And you heard Chris Finch. What are the did we miss anything? We didn't miss any of his great quotes. We totally disrespected the game ourselves, and we got exactly what we deserved.
This is a little bit of a conspiracy theorist statement a little bit here too. I'm gonna. So he and Embiid hate each other. Okay, they really, honestly, they do not like each other at all.
Carl and Joel Embiid. Okay,
right.
Okay.
And I'm not going to put it past him to know through someone on the bench I'm serious. I'm serious. That Embiid scored 70 about an hour before he did. I'm not putting that past him.
All right.
And he was going to try to one up Joel.
I can live with that. Friggin' Joel Embiid.
He won't admit that, but I would not put it past him to have that happen.
Embiid scored 70 last night, and he only took 24 trips to the free throw line. I'm telling you, Brad Ryder, I'm gonna snap and run naked through the streets with this friggin' officiating in the NBA. 24 trips to the free throw line, this guy, Joel Embiid. It was kind of interesting that two guys had this massive night. They're the first duo to score at least 60 points on the same day since 1978 when David Thompson had 73 points. I remember he was a big North Carolina State guy, but I don't remember what pro ball club he played for.
Denver.
Okay, that's right. David Thompson in 1978 scored 73 points, and George Gervin, I'm assuming he played for the Spurs at the time, scored 63. And this last night was the 18th anniversary of Kobe Bryant scoring 81 points against the Toronto Raptors.
Oh,
so
wow.
there's all these things happening here with.
Yeah, some other guys had huge nights too. Not that big, but I saw some highlights this morning of Kevin Durant had a huge game for Phoenix last night.
Oh, and so did the dude with the schnoz, Jokic.
Oh, yep.
Schnoz. I'm looking at a list of the highest point per game performances in Timberwolves history. Carl has the top 3.
Right.
Do you guys know who 4 and 5 are?
Yes, I do.
Mo Williams.
Yep. Number 4.
He had 50. I was there. Remember that? Boy, did.
I'll give you a hint.
I know. Corey Brewer.
There you go.
I was at that one, too. Yep.
Almost jumped right through his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mo Willem and Corey Brewer. Hey, do you guys, some of you folks here on the program and our listening audience, some of you are gamers. Do you ever play something called Tekken?
Never even heard of it.
I haven't.
You've never heard of it?
Nope.
It's a fighting game.
Yeah, it was like
Tekken.
the rival to Street Fighter.
Yeah, back in the day.
All right, so some of you know it. Tekken Part 8 is coming out. They put out a video game trailer, and it stars Carl Anthony Towns and Mike Conley Part 2.
Oh my God! Not many people get to beat Mike Conley in anything. The father teaching me some lessons right now.
I'm your daddy. Better Tekken player between the two of us. The last hour, at least an hour ago, was Carl Anthony Towns. Tomorrow will be Mike Conley.
Trailer's up on 93x.com.
I guess they're both big gamers, Carl Anthony Towns and Mike Conley, the second, playing Tekken, this fighting game. I watched the trailer. I don't know how to operate these video games anymore. It looks very complicated. So, it's a fighting game. What's the greatest fighting video game of all time?
In your opinion?
No. Hell, I have no opinion. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask it. I thought you'd say Punch-Out.
Oh,
that'd be fun.
No,
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I was throwing it at you guys who know video games.
I would say the old school Mortal Kombat, the first couple.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer, but
Yeah.
I love Mortal Kombat.
Definitely Mortal Kombat.
And it's still fun to play in the arcades today.
I didn't even...
Yeah, it was so much fun trying to kick them into the vats of acid to the different levels you could go.
I didn't even consider Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I was thinking of the modern ones where you tear each other's spines out, and it's just...
Another old school one I liked, Karate Champ.
Oh, that was a fun one. Absolutely.
I could whoop ass. I could whoop just about any kid in Wyzetta's ass
Street Fighter
at
was
Karate
cool.
Champ in 1984. What was that video game we were watching, Josh, where we thought we were going to vomit? Where they were fighting and pulling each other's...
Oh, that's Mortal Kombat.
That's Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
I love
the new
it.
fatalities are absolutely brutal.
I really
It was so awesome.
Do you remember we talked about, there was a story, but some of the game designers had to watch all this just really macabre, terrible stuff, like terrible things from crime scenes and how bodies work and all this. And some of them needed some counseling afterwards.
sure.
They were so messed up.
So wait a minute. Yeah, I remember. I almost threw up just watching the video game happen. We were watching it on YouTube. Kids play this video. So let me get this straight. The game designers, would they watch footage of real murders and things like that so they could better design what it looks like in a video game?
Like crime scene photos and things like that. Yeah, I'm assuming some of those terrible videos you can see online.
Have we gone too far at this point? For Christ's sake!
Let's go back. Let's go back to the Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Oh,
well, seeing the fatalities today makes it so funny to think back at how controversial the original Mortal Kombat was, because they showed like a splash of blood when the guy got punched in the face. Like, that was such a huge deal. Parents banning their kids from playing the game.
That's right, just a little blood coming out.
Stores refusing to play it.
Like the world's worst animated blood.
Yeah. It's comical to look back at now.
Here's a great one, Double Dragon.
Oh, I love
Blew
the
a lot of
Double
quarters
Dragons.
on Double Dragon back in the day.
Brad Ryder, he's trying to join in this conversation, but he was, growing up in Clara City, he was sitting there fingering the Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Sock'em, yeah. Those were awesome,
Those
man.
were awesome.
By candlelight before he had to go milk the cows.
Yep. That's it.
So I was all pissed off watching the close of that Wolves game last night. I'm sure this ball game tonight will piss me off too. Golden Gopher basketball plays at home versus Wisconsin. It'll be a different style of anger. I know the Golden Gophers are the big time underdogs, but I always get extra pissed off watching the University of Wisconsin succeed in any way. So I'll be angry again tonight watching this game. Maybe they'll pull off a huge... Oh, that'll make me feel much better if the Golden Gophers can beat those pricks from Wisconsin tonight. 6 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Right after that, the ladies also play Wisco in Madison. So 6 o'clock, the dudes, 8 o'clock, the ladies, both Golden Gopher basketball versus Wisconsin. That's interesting. All right. Brad Ryder. The Pigs are at home versus the Washington Capitals tonight. That game starts at 7 o'clock, and if you're not going down to the rink, it'll be televised on Bally Sports North. Now, I don't follow the Washington Capitals at all, but I looked up their stats. Alexander Ovechkin only has 8 goals on the year. He's got a pile of assists, but his plus-minus sucks, and he's only scored 8 goals. And you know what? I looked even further into it. A few of those were empty net goals.
Was he out for a while?
No. He's played 41 out of 44 games. So this might be old news to folks who follow the NHL much closer than I do these days. But what the hell? Has he finally hit a wall? He is 38 years old.
I was about to ask how old he is. He seems like he's 52. He's been around forever.
I know. And you remember, he's, what we talked about it last year. If he keeps pumping away, he might pass Gretzky someday. I don't know. I don't remember the details. Some folks thought it might take 1 or 2 more seasons. Maybe he has to play a little further than that. I don't know. But is his body finally giving way on him? Because he's never, ever, I don't think in his entire career, finished with less than 20 goals, I want to say. He's sitting at 8, and we're halfway through the season.
No. Father Time's undefeated, so.
Yeah, you're right.
At some point.
You're damn right. The Capitals' leading scorer is a kid named Dylan Strome, or Stromey. I've never heard of the guy. He's got 16 goals. Just curious, for those of you who might follow this, is something going on with Alexander Ovechkin? Is it just his legs are finally giving out on him? When did it hit you in the face, Brad Ryder, that you couldn't quite do what you used to be able to do athletically?
I'm still in denial, actually. It still hasn't hit me.
You still go to the Y and take your shirt off and say, all right, let's
do a little flex in front of the mirror.
Let's team up here, boys.
I was actually, to answer the question legitimately, I played town team baseball until I was about, I'd say 27, 28. I played, in the summertime. But there was that last summer where it would take me about a week and a half between, I was still pitching, a week and a half before I could pick up a ball again because my shoulder hurt so bad. And I went in and got it checked. I went and got it checked out, and I do have a partial tear in my rotator cuff. And the doctor said, he said it's probably time to be done. He said because you're not going to get this surgery done. This was back in the day when that type of surgery was a little bit more invasive. He said you're probably not going to do this to continue to play town team ball, so you might want to stop. So.
Well. Yeah, like you said, Father Time, that prick is undefeated.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock tonight, we find out who's going into the Baseball Hall of Fame this year. Of course, Joe Mauer is on the ballot for the first time. When we talked to Joe last week, things were looking good. I bet they're planning a big kegger at the Mauer house tonight, no matter how it turns out. Big party. Wouldn't that be great? I bet he goes in. I think we all feel like it's going to happen.
100%.
And
I think it's going to be a close vote. I think he makes it, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Well, so far, 53.6% of the ballots have been announced, and he's on 83% of them. He needs 75% to get in.
Can you imagine just one appearance on this show and he gets into the Hall of Fame?
It's unbelievable.
It's awesome for other people's careers to be on this show.
It really is a massive springboard for success for everybody else.
Just one appearance.
Not the core of the program. We're still just waddling or waiting in our own mediocrity. But if you appear on this, you go to the big friggin' time. So I think he's going to get in. And I bet it'll be a hell of a scene, and we'll be watching it on the news tonight of the Mauers hugging and kissing and crying and up and down like that. And I'll be a proud effing Twins fan when it happens because I love the guy.
Now, speaking of the effect of this show, I spent some time yesterday with Bob Hagan, the longtime Vikings PR guy.
Sure.
And he basically admitted to me that having Andrew DePaula on launched him into a couple Pro Bowl appearances.
Oh,
there's no doubt about it.
Very cool.
He admitted it, so.
Well, how could he not?
That's awesome.
How could he not? Hell yeah, we had everything to do with Andrew DePaula's success in this town. Guy's a bum.
No, he's not a bum. Take that back. You didn't mean
that. All right, let me tell you more about some of these cats looking to get into the Hall. Adrian Beltre is considered a lock in his first year.
Yep.
Chase Utley is also on the ballot for the first time. The top holdover, they say, is Todd Helton. He was close last year. Gary Sheffield is in his final year on the ballot before he enters the senior movement. This is where I get lost. There are so many different ways to get into the scene and into this. And you can watch it tonight on the Major League Baseball Network at 5 o'clock. Got guys like Billy Wagner,
I think a big advantage Joe has this year, to be honest with you, is that, while those names you're reading off, they were great players. There's not like 3 or 4 slam dunk candidates, on the ballot. Like there's not a Derek Jeter. There's not a, people like that, where you look at all those names and Joe does kind of stick out a little bit.
Yeah, he does. What I have here in front of me are these big names. Some of them have been on the ballot for 7, 8, 9 years and such. And I guess it's an interesting process. And you have to get the approval of the writers and this and that. And then, of course, I forget about the steroid thing, how everyone's still so hung up on the steroid thing. But, I read some of these names. I mean, Manny Ramirez, not in yet. Andrew Jones, Andy Pettit. These were great players.
Yeah.
Mark Burley, Jimmy Rollins. And again, I'm probably forgetting some kind of growth enhancement, whatever they call it, the butter they used to put on their arms. Well, I don't.
Yeah, I think that's hurt Pettit quite a bit.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Oh, I forgot that he did.
Some of the other first-time guys, well, there's Adrian Beltre, there's Joe Mauer. Oh, Big Sexy.
Oh.
Bartolo Colon.
He deserves his own Hall of Fame.
So we'll see, but I think he gets in tonight, and we are going to get her done. Twins Fest is this weekend. Anyone going to Twins Fest?
No.
Don't have plans yet, but we usually do go, so I'd imagine we will.
It's always a fun
Who's
time.
going to be there?
Pardon me?
Said who's all going to be there?
A lot of guys from the Wolves.
I don't have
some of the Wild players.
Yeah, I don't have a roster in front of me.
I do know
you
that
can usually count on like Dan Gladden, and you can count on guys like Torrey Hunter and Kent Herbeck. They're perennial.
Most of the current players do come as well.
Yep.
And I saw that Joe Mauer is signing autographs on Saturday morning, so that could be your first opportunity to have him sign something with a little HOF next to it, potentially.
Joe Mauer is expected to show up?
Yeah, he's signing autographs on Saturday.
Oh, wow. By the way, I did have some hockey fans text in with their answers on why Alexander Ovechkin only has 8 goals on the year and his plus-minus sucks, and it just seems like he's having the worst year of his career. A couple folks texted in and said the sumbitch is just smooth getting old. A couple texted in and said Nicholas Backstrom retired, and that hurt him as far as, having another reliable guy out there to hook him up. And others said he's just lazy. All right, what else is going on around here? Oh, how about this? A Twitter message that Baker Mayfield got from Ric Flair.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yes.
I did see this. That was cool.
Nate says, in a Twitter message to Baker Mayfield, Nate says, "We've only met once. As of today, I have so much respect for you and the Buccaneers. You played your heart out. You're a badass. I live in Tampa. I don't have your number. I would love to hang out with you. You're such a badass. I'm so proud to say that I'm a Buccaneers fan. To the whole Buccaneers team, God bless you. You went places you weren't supposed to go. Next year, let's kick ass." Woo!
That's cool. Woo! Ric Flair sliding in your DMs.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That would be awesome.
Man.
You think Mayfield will take the dirtiest player in the game up on his offer to hang out sometime?
Oh, I got to imagine so.
If he hasn't called him already, he's making a mistake.
Flair will say, "I only need you to bring 2 things. Yourself and Janelle Klein."
Boy, he has a thing for Janelle, who may join us tomorrow morning.
Oh!
Yep, that's the plan.
That would be lovely.
So, there was a big dramatic moment in that Chiefs-Bills playoff game. It was hilarious. I love it. I hope nothing happens to this rule. I hope it remains. Where the dude from the Chiefs is going for the touchdown, and he fumbles the ball, and it goes out the back of the end zone, and it's a touchback for Buffalo. I love that. I love how it can go from he's going to score to what do you mean the other team gets the ball on the 20? I love it. But since it boned or almost boned Patrick Mahomes and that Kelsey dude and the big coach with the
Andy Reid,
so now they're in serious conversation as to changing the rule.
It's funny because it boned the Vikings earlier in the season against Philly, and people are like, "Yeah, it's a rule."
Nobody cares about that.
Tough luck. Too bad.
Yeah,
happens to it. Almost ruins the NFL script of having the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and oh my God, we got to change it before the next game.
I love it. Does anyone have a problem with that rule where you fumble out the back of the end zone and it's a touchback?
No problem with that.
What a bunch of oversensitive.
I like it because it kind of hopefully it deters some of those yahoos from sticking the ball out at the 5-yard line trying to get in.
Yeah, you see that a lot. So, yeah, the Chiefs wet their pants. I mean, it in the end, it didn't change the game dramatically. You know what I mean. It didn't really factor into the outcome of the game. But the Chiefs wet their pants, and now I guess there's reports on ESPN that they could change the rule in the offseason. But no, not everybody hates the rule. I think it's fun. I think it's great to see the player's face who just fumbled the ball. You're just 6 inches away. I love that. When they showed that Chiefs guy on the bench going, you got to be freaking kidding me. I loved it. That's some of the fun that still remains in the game. There's so much of the fun has been taken out of the NFL that, please,
It is kind of funny, the issues that Kansas City's had with its receivers this year. And that was a receiver who did that,
too. Yeah.
You can just see him on the bench deleting his social media.
Right.
Thinking, well, I just ruined our chances.
It's coming.
Hell yeah. Oh, God. All right, there's a funny video going around. This is pretty cute. A Chiefs supporter used a literal fan to blow that Buffalo Bills kicker, Tyler Bass, to blow his kick wide right.
This is up on my thread.
We're trying. Blow it.
There's the audio of those morons. Ashley, you said it's up on our website?
Yes, sir.
So they're watching the stinking ball game there. And this Tyler Bass is setting up for this field goal that would have tied the game. You guys all watched it. So here's the video. This group of Chiefs fans, they're watching the game. And before Bass kicks the football, dude sets up a literal fan on the left side of the television, blowing to the right. And then Bass kicks the ball, and the ball goes blowing off to the right. And it was funny. It was funny. You might want to check that out. They had a good time. And Josh, you were just talking about social media. Because so many of us are disgusting garbage pile human beings, that Buffalo Bills kicker Tyler Bass deactivated his social media accounts right after the ball game.
He was getting death threats.
Dude, people
were reporting.
suck.
Yeah.
Death threats. Think about that for a minute.
It's insane.
How?
You shouldn't make death threats at all, but I mean, if you're going to, maybe point them towards all the receivers that dropped all those passes.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's a lot more went into that Buffalo Bills loss than just Tyler Bass missing a 44-yard field goal when it was crazy windy out.
Well, in that game, or that field goal would have only tied the game. I mean, let's have some perspective. I mean, that doesn't mean they would have won the game. Kansas City may have come down and kicked their own field goal.
How poorly wired are you to send a death threat to anybody, of course, like you stated, but to the kicker that missed your... I really do think that the cops should go to each and every one of those people's houses and take a real close, hard look into what's going on in their brains.
I agree.
I can only imagine what NFL fans, who are the worst fans in all of American sports, I can only imagine what they were saying to this kicker from the comfort of their grandmother's basement. But some Bills fans did support this Tyler Bass character by donating to a local animal charity that he has supported in the past. So those nice folks at the animal charity made a few bucks, and some Bills fans showed that, you know, they're not disgusting bastards.
I have a Tyler Bass jersey, and one of my buddies said, you should cover up the B.
This Tyler Bass is a cat guy. He's a cat lover, just like me and Wapple.
Yeah, we're better.
You're refined.
Sure.
Better taste.
Here's something for the silly Packer fans in our listening audience. Okay, so they had that game with San Francisco. Dramatic stuff. A Madison, Wisconsin gal thought her aunt was having a full-on heart attack during the Packers-Niners game the other day. But it was all just a misunderstanding. The aunt is watching this ball game, watching it slip away from the Packers. and she sends her niece a text message. And the text message says, "I'm having a heart attack." She didn't mean it literally. She was just referencing the drama of the ball game. The niece calls 911. The fire department pulls up on the aunt's property. The aunt has to come out the door and shake her head and wave at the firemen and say, no, it was all just a misunderstanding. She apologized and said, you can go back to the station.
Niece must not have been watching the game, huh? Or
Yeah,
maybe
must
wasn't
not.
even aware it was on.
That's effing embarrassing. Well, but here's what came to mind for me. Is the niece one of these people who can't make a regular phone call?
Yeah, she didn't just...
Yeah, I was wondering if there was some information left out there.
There must have been, because who doesn't just... Yeah, my first instinct would be to call them.
Right. But so many of us are so locked into those stupid text messages that it's the only form of communication that we can handle anymore. You can't make a phone call and say, "Okay, Aunt Dorothy, are you really okay?" Or friggin' Wisconsin people, they're always making things more difficult than they need to be.
So typical.
I can tell you that the 911 service, at least in my area of the metro, works really well. This literally just happened to me Sunday night, too. I had my phone in my pocket, and it started ringing. And I pulled it out, and my wife's in the living room, and she's like, "Who's calling?" I'm like, "I have no idea." I pulled it out, and I accidentally, I don't know how this happened, but as I was on the floor, dialed 911.
Oh, boy.
Really?
And yes, and so the guy answered the phone, and I said, "I'm sorry." He said 911. I said, "I'm sorry, this is an accident." And he said, "Okay." Literally 5 minutes later, I get another call. I don't recognize the number, but it's a 651, so I pick it up, and it's somebody from the Eagan Police Department wondering if I'm okay, if I need somebody to come over because they'd gotten a 911 call. And I said, "No, thank you. It was an accident. Don't worry about it." Not kidding. 5 minutes later, I get a knock on the door at my house. Another Eagan police officer stops over just to make sure everything is okay. So I can attest to the fact that 911 works.
I think I'd be the cop that just didn't really. It was cold. I wouldn't want to run out to the squad, so I just call and say, "Do I really need to come out there? Are you going to make me get in the squad and come out there?"
Was I hearing things, or did that story begin, Brad, with you and your wife rolling around on the floor?
Not quite in that way, but yeah, the dogs were there.
He was on the floor. He pulled it out. The wife was there.
Oh, playing around with your stupid dogs.
Right.
Get a cat.
But yeah,
It's time to grow
not
up
only
and
did
get a
they
kid.
call back, but they stopped over too.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, that's surprising that they stopped over, because I've definitely had plenty of times where they've called me back, but they've never actually dispatched somebody. That's
What do you mean
crazy.
plenty of times? Like, what's happening where this is needs to happen?
Why did you call them in the first place?
The stupid iPhone thing where you that. Just the way I hit it in my pocket when it's in my back pocket.
Right, yeah, I don't know what I did either.
I hit the panic button or whatever
you
it is.
You can change that. I mean, you might not want to, but yeah, if you hit the side button enough times.
So you're saying,
it'll
Ashley,
call.
you have accidentally called 911 a couple of times?
Yeah.
Tell me if anyone else had this same experience back when we were normal people and just had home phones. During a terrible thunderstorm, lightning and the whole works, 2 o'clock in the morning, this is years ago. Suddenly there's a knock at my damn door. And, it scared the hell out of me. 2 o'clock in the morning, who's knocking on my door? I up out of bed and I go to the door. It's a cop. Got the cop car in my driveway with the cherries spinning. I open the door and, yeah? And he said, "Someone called 911 from this address." And I said, "No, we didn't." And he said, "Well, okay, this is kind of a thing. It seems when thunderstorm." Anyone ever heard of something like that before?
No, never.
No.
I think the last time I brought it up, I thought somebody texted in and said, "Yeah, there was a bizarre deal."
Eric Jesus said his girlfriend works for Scott County Dispatch, and they get butt dials and emergency calls all the time. Lots of times, just like what we described, you hit the button multiple times on your phone. They do that obviously if you're basically incapacitated, right? You can hit it a few times versus opening your phone and dialing 911, or if you can't get into the phone for that reason.
One time I actually, they left me a voicemail, and in the past, people are like, "Oh no, you don't need to call them back, they're fine." And nothing ever happens when I haven't called them back. But this time I went to call them back to be like, "Oh yeah, my bad," because it looked like I was on the phone with them for a while. And they were actually really thankful that I called them back and let them know, because people were like, "Oh no, you're just gonna annoy them," but they were very, very thankful.
Well, yeah, then they don't have to dispatch anybody. It's happened to me hundreds of times, Ashley. Same exact thing.
Yesterday, Brad Ryder, you were talking about Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and you were saying, and I agreed with you, we can't deny the kid's success so far in his brief NFL career, but also we question how legitimate he might be as a big-time quarterback. I said...
How much of the credit should go to him?
How much of the credit should go to him? I said that, there's plays where he looks quite legitimate, and then there's plays where he looks like a high school kid, and you wonder, what the hell is this kid doing out there? You guys like memes? Who likes a funny meme?
I enjoy a meme from time to time.
I saw a meme yesterday. I think that's what you call it, a meme. It's a picture of Brock Purdy from that ball game last weekend where they beat Green Bay. And he's flexing. He's got his arms up in the air, and he's flexing, and he's going, yeah! He's pumped. Something positive just happened. And the verbiage here connected to the meme says, when you do nothing on the group project, but you still get an A. The other meme I saw, it's a very serious-looking photo of Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for Baltimore, who will be playing in the AFC Championship game this weekend against Kansas City. Very serious looking. And the statement, the post, I always forget the terms here. The post above the picture says, only one man can save us from a Taylor Swift Super Bowl. Now, I'll tell you what, in the picture, he looks ready for it, Cubby.
I think so, yeah. He'll save us.
How about the video of that cute blonde at the cricket match chugging back-to-back beers like she was at a Motley Crue show in 1987?
I love
goodness.
Her. She looks like she's at a Rat, Motley Crue, and Bullet Boys concert from 1987. Anyone here ever bother watching cricket?
Never.
Yes.
No. You
a
have
little bit. What's it? Gerard Butler? Is he
into cricket?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I think that's who it was. So I don't know that that's professional, but I've watched him play. Pretty sure that's who it was.
Oh, here's a retired cop who texted in, 23 years on the job. He goes by the name of Belly Bumpin' Jesus. Back to my story about the electrical storm that then caused the cops to come to my place thinking that I called 911. Belly Bumpin' Jesus, former cop, says storms used to trigger old cordless phones.
Interesting.
Did
not know that.
I appreciate you backing me up on that. Okay, back to this lady. Cute blonde at the cricket match. I have no idea where, and I don't care. She's in the bleachers. She sees herself on the Jumbotron, and this is the new thing now. If you get placed up on the Jumbotron and you got a Steve Weiser in front of you, you got to gun that pig. So first she downs what appears to be a dark beer. That's what it looked like to me. Some said it looked like wine. I don't know. It looked like a dark beer to me.
Other people were saying brandy.
Is this up on
That
our
was a big
Yes, it is.
Oh, that wasn't friggin' brandy.
It looked like dark beer to me, too.
She would have vomited all over
the first one.
Like 24 ounces of brandy going down your throat all at once. It's up on our website?
Yes, sir.
So first she slams this dark beer, and then when the camera didn't move off of her, she snatched a beer from the dude sitting next to her and chugged that, and the crowd went crazy.
Oh, no! Finish! Go! No! No! Yeah! There she is. She should be proud of herself. Unbelievable kickers.
Was that some dude just sitting on his couch at home watching the damn thing?
It's a bad recording of the broadcast.
They're having a good time with the beer chugging.
Probably the most exciting thing that happened in that cricket match.
Probably was. Can you chug a lug, Brad Ryder?
No, not like I used to, no.
You ever operate a beer bong back in your days at the U of M?
I didn't go to the U of M, so no.
Oh, well, hanging around the U of M with your hot girlfriend.
Sure. Yeah, with my ex.
You knew how to operate a beer bong?
No, not very well.
You ever butt chug?
That's the way to do it.
No, I did not do that either.
Cool kids are doing
That's
these
how
days.
you cut to the chase,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Would that get it in your bloodstream?
Butt chugging?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, does? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why people put like soaked tampons.
Oh, that's right. I
Yep.
remember that old. I don't know if anybody ever did it, but it was kind of. I think it was more of an urban legend in my school.
Oh, really? I've definitely known some people to do that. You dip the tampon in vodka and then you put it somewhere it doesn't belong.
We had that reputation at our high school. Not reputation, but that rumor at our high school as well.
Let me just make this very clear. That has never happened. Just like the gal from your junior high with the hot dog, it never happened.
If you butt chug, can you pass a breathalyzer?
Make you do a fertilizer?
Yeah, well, honestly, can you pass?
I would think you probably would because it's in your bloodstream, but not in your breath.
No one has ever soaked a tampon in vodka and then put it in. And no, there wasn't a girl at your junior high where the hot dog broke. Neither of those things ever happened.
Oh, we had both those rumors.
Lamangelo, Orangelo, that never happened. What else never happened? But folks claim it happened. We'll cover this later.
Well, the guy who was on the football team masturbating in the back of the bus. That never happened.
The guy who went on a blind date, or no, his friends played a prank on him by setting him up with a woman on a blind date in a hotel room to have sex with, and then it ended up being his mom. That never happened.
Because they left the lights off and they decided we're not going to speak a word to each other ahead of time.
One of these days,
the girl with the popsicle, I'm sure that never happened either.
That never. We'll dedicate a whole day to things that people claim happened that never happened. We will. Right now, we don't have the time. We're trying to have a conversation with Brad Ryder. How about a couple of random sports facts before we let you go, Brad?
Okay.
Oh, my damn. On this day in 1984, Hulk Hogan beat the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden to win his first WWF wrestling title. And I got to be totally honest with you, I was upset.
Were you really?
Oh, I love the Iron Sheik.
Oh, I love the Iron Sheik, too.
I loved him through his entire career. I never once rooted against the Iron Sheik. I just thought he was so much fun.
America Hot Pooey.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan said he might return for Royal Rumble. He said he's got one left in him.
Get him out of there. Somebody please lock the doors on the Royal Rumble and do not let Hulk Hogan in the building. We just don't need it anymore. God bless you, Hulk Hogan. You're the reason why this happened and that you're one of the greatest, but we don't need you. Poor Iron Sheik, he checked out. But yeah, I was upset as a 7th grader when I learned that Sheik had his belt taken.
You know, the Iron Sheik was big. I mean, I know we joke about out in the farm in western Minnesota. Iron Sheik was big out there because he married a girl from Montevideo, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
so people liked him out there.
Yeah. By damn, he did.
Edina Cop Jesus has checked in on the topic of butt chugging.
Oh.
It would still cause you to fail a breathalyzer. Blood goes to the lungs to be oxygenated.
All right.
All right.
There goes that strategy.
All right. Back to the drawing board, folks.
What about the peanut butter rumor? People want to know the peanut butter on the genitalia. Did anyone ever use that with a pet?
Oh, yeah, I saw it firsthand.
You did?
That
So that one's not.
No.
I've never seen it. I heard the rumors.
Yes, that happened. It happened when I was a 5th grader. One of my buddies covered his genitalia in peanut butter and then said...
on a show?
And then he said, come on, come here.
It's messed up.
Fun Size Jesus has checked in on things that people say happened that never happened.
I love this.
The U.S. landing on the moon.
Yeah, you're right.
Now we're getting somewhere here.
Wow. Well, there you go. Brad Ryder, appreciate the help. I don't know when we're going to see Randy again. It sounds like he's pretty sick.
Well, I'm planning on tomorrow.
Well,
So-
yeah,
we could use you. He's got a respiratory deal. It's not the diarrhea Nick's trying to spread.
Oh, I thought. See, everyone told me it was terrible.
No.
Well, it could be both.
Well, that would be bad if it were both.
That is possible. You're right.
Appreciate it, Brad Ryder. And yeah, tomorrow's one of your regular stops, so we appreciate you, going on an off day today. And maybe we'll get Randy in, maybe we won't. But either way, by God, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
And sorry for
Sounds
texting
good.
you at 4:30 a.m., by the way.
No, that's fine. I never hear my phone until I wake up. Anyway, I'm
Rolling
good.
around
Okay.
on the floor with his wife.
That's right. Dialing 911.
Pulling it out.
Having the cops come over with the handcuffs.
See you later, Brad.
Okay, see
We'll
ya.
be back here shortly on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, there you go, 8:26 on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. I'll be damned. We're getting there Tuesday morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Did we dump congratulations on this guy yet?
We didn't, but we need to.
We should congratulate a pimp in our listening audience, Tim with the Egan.
Lucky guy, he already wins.
You win one in life and in this contest.
What possessed everyone to go that way?
The Egan?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just to upset you, I think.
Tim from Egan, we want to say congratulations. He is the winner of the 93X Music City Blitz giveaway. He's off to see back-to-back Disturbed concerts in Nashville next month. This guy's going to get into the beers, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get into the beers.
Yeah, he'll have a couple in Nashville.
Back-to-back Disturbed concerts in Nashville, thanks to Q Prime Management.
They're good to us.
For hooking us up with the Tripski, and of course everyone in our listening audience, the brother and the sisterhood who got involved. But there goes Tim. For God's sake. He's going to come back. I bet he comes back and acts like he discovered Nashville. He's the only guy that's ever been there.
People do that nowadays.
He's going to walk up to his buddies and say, I went to Nashville. Well, I call it Music City.
Gross.
That's what Just kidding, Tim. I'm sure you'll be all right. All right, Cubby. What was that friggin' backhanded compliment that your wife dumped on you a while back, if I remember right?
Well, it wasn't really a backhanded compliment.
What would you call it? Just a straight-up insult?
No, it was just not really giving me... it was not ripping me, but not complimenting me. When we were supposed to ask our significant others how they felt about our penises.
I remember that was a while back.
And instead of, gushing about mine, pardon, I shouldn't have put my penis and gushing in the same phrase. I'm sorry about that.
It didn't even cross my mind until you brought it up.
And I shouldn't have brought it up, you know what I mean? In case it didn't cross your mind, I didn't need to say it.
And what was that word you used again?
I believe it was gushing in response to my genitalia.
I love you so much, we're just going to move on.
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to hold anything against you.
Yeah, I didn't mean to erupt like that. So my wife says...
Yes, the wife.
I like it, as if other people might not.
She said that about your Johnson.
Like, I tolerate it, or, it's...
When you asked her to her face...
What do you think?
Be honest with me. What do you think of the gear? She said...
I like it.
I like it.
Like, maybe I'm weird for liking it, but I think it's fine.
Oh, my God.
But we've seen... There was a guy we worked with who was the king of backhanded compliments, and what was frustrating about him is... He assumed that nobody realized what he was doing.
Right.
Because it wasn't like, I'm sure people have done this before. Maybe you said something meaning to give a compliment and then realize afterwards, that could have been taken as demeaning. I didn't mean it that way at all.
Right.
But he would throw these out on purpose, and the one that hurt me the most, and I wasn't even a part of it, I just saw the look on this young person's face. He says, for a chubby girl, you're really attractive. Like, why would you say something like that?
Gross.
Why would you have to qualify it like that?
Yeah.
The dude was strange.
Yeah. And that guy, he loved being a jerk. Absolutely loved. And being a jerk in a way where he thought he was fooling everyone. Like, I'm the nice guy. What? I said she was attractive.
Right. Mm-hmm. He was...
I thought I was going to barf.
Wired poorly. No doubt about that. And, okay... That's different. What your wife said to you wasn't so much a backhanded compliment. I shouldn't have been comparing what your wife said to you to some of the things I have in front of me here. Backhanded compliments that people have gotten in the sack before or after sex. Before or after sex. God help us. I'm sure I've fielded one or two of these, but I'm just racking my brain. I can't come up with it now. Maybe it'll occur to me later. Backhanded compliments that people have fielded while in the sack. Before or after sex. Here's one right here. You're straight up, I guess this is what someone said to a guy. You're pretty flexible for a fat guy.
Oh.
Ouch.
That hurts. I'm not kidding. I honestly prefer small penises. You son of a bitch.
Oh, I've definitely gone down that route before and had to like backtrack.
Pardon me.
Like tried to.
Tell us about this now.
Oh, it's happened before where, like somebody asks about, I don't know, we're talking about penis size. I'm not really sure how it comes up, and I've said like, yeah, I don't like the really big ones, and they usually don't really like when I say that.
Guys don't like when you say that?
Yeah, because they just because in their eyes I'm like, yeah, no, she's calling me small.
You're saying I've had bigger ones and I don't like them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Yes.
You're having a conversation with guys at a bar, or what's the...
No, after sex.
After sex.
Yeah.
Oh, after sex.
There's 3-4 guys there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
We're just
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to picture the scene.
Uh-huh.
And you said to a guy after he mounted you, you've said, yeah, the thing is, I don't really like the big ones.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm on board with where you went with that. Yeah.
A few people are reminding us when I don't remember, the topic came up and you described your boyfriend's penis as, it gets the job done.
I know, and I did mean it in such like...
Which is
like,
essentially...
oh, yeah, it's okay. I never meant it like that.
Now, my wife never said that mine got the job done. She just said, I like it as if other people wouldn't. So I think I got it a little bit worse, but yours wasn't much better.
No, I meant it in a compliment way. Like, yeah, he does it. He gets the job done. I don't think a lot of men can say that they get the job done.
My favorite thing about the "it gets the job done" line is that it came up a week later during a live broadcast in which your boyfriend was in the group of the audience listening to the broadcast. So everybody turned around and looked at him.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he gets it pretty
Even
often.
he compliments other men's penis, something you refused to do. Compliment his penis.
Another thing I embarrassed him about.
That's right. You mentioned that he complimented a gentleman's penis at the urinal.
I was wondering if that was normal.
All right, a lot of this is D-related. A lot of this is D-size related. These backhanded compliments that people have gotten in the sack, maybe before, maybe after they folded each other in half. All right, check this quote out. Your penis doesn't hurt me like some of my ex's penises did.
Except first you'd be like, yeah, oh, wait a minute. I mean, that's good, but I know what you're saying.
Yep. That's how I would usually backtrack after I said, I don't really like the big ones. I'd be like, well, I mean, the big ones hurt.
That's funny, Josh. The way you played out that reaction, I think was perfect.
I think I'd be like, hell yeah, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, no. Dumbass welder Jesus is texted in. He said one time the old lady got mad at him after they had sex. He stayed laying down in the bed after it was over. And she said, what are you doing laying there? And he said, well, I just did all the heavy lifting.
No. Oh, no.
Don't say heavy around your wife ever. What's the matter with you? Another backhanded compliment in the bedroom. This one here is size related again. Oh, Jesus, listen to this. I never thought I'd be doing this with a ginger. with a red-haired person.
Ah, poor redheads.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't really get why people make all those jokes.
Here's a dude who had a lady say to him, I love a dad bod. And he was thinking to himself, well, thanks, but I don't think I have a dad bod. Guy thought he was looking pretty good. Apparently, he's got the dad bod. What you lack in size, I warned you, a lot of this is penis related. What you lack in size, she said, you make up for in speed.
Let's get it over with.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a backhanded compliment or she was just going for it on that.
Yeah. He's apparently the Tony Schumacher, the Kenny Bernstein, the Ron Capps, the John Force of sexual intercourse. You NHRA fans know what I'm talking about. Here's a quote from a lady. Backhanded compliment. Other men I've been with were far more experienced than you in bed. But you're the one I love, so you should be proud about that.
I don't think so. I don't think you should be proud.
It's a shot to the ego.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly are bigger than I thought you'd be.
Do you, when you look at a potential partner, Ashley, do you try and guess what's going to be happening down there, or is it something you just don't even think about?
Yeah, I usually do.
Do
I
you
try
really?
to guess. Yeah.
How good are you at guessing?
I think I'm pretty good.
Are you?
Have you ever been wildly wrong or like let down or wildly surprised in a good way?
I was wildly let down once. Yeah, that was the micro penis guy.
Oh.
Now,
did not see that coming because he held himself with like so much confidence and like just kind of had that like big D energy. And then
I've got that.
Yeah, it was not his penis size did not back that up.
Now, is it really a micro penis?
Yes.
We've had this conversation. If you're a new listener, Ashley told us a long time ago that she had an encounter with a legitimate micro penis. And I think the last time we talked about this, you looked it up. You looked up what defines. Will you do that again?
Yep.
What defines a micro penis? And you're saying you tangled with one of these.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh,
Get back
God.
to
It says in an adult, a penis that measures 3.67 inches or less when gently stretched is considered a micro penis.
Yuck. You could have edited some of
Yeah,
that.
you could have said 3.7.
What are we talking about? Full on boner? 3.7?
That's what I thought. I thought that was an erection we're talking
You
about.
see, we
Yes.
Yes.
that is what we're talking about.
Yes.
A
yes.
dude, when fully in party mode, is 3.7 inches or less.
Yep, that's a micro penis.
Such a dark time.
Well, give the guy a friggin' break already. You know?
He can't help it.
He wasn't that great of a person though, so it was kind of like, nah. Well, you deserve one, I
He
think.
wasn't that great of a person.
You're saying so he deserved the micro penis.
Yeah.
Give out his name real quick. I'm kidding.
You want first and last?
Of course.
Backhanded sexual compliments we're talking about. All right, how about this? All right, again, it's penis size related. She said, I'm totally down to try anal with you sometime. It won't be nearly as uncomfortable as it was with my ex. Are you always this loud?
I bet you've been asked that from what you've described with your orgasms, Nick.
I have the loudest orgasms in the county. We've got one on tape. I'm proud of it. It's all me. Yeah, I've gotten comments. But my favorite was when a gal reached up and put both her hands over my mouth right as I was ready to get her.
Slow down, mister.
She just did not want to hear it.
Enough.
Oh, this is one that I think this one would bother my guy Cubby over here. Backhanded compliment. I was surprised at how good you look without a shirt on. And the guy says, oh, thanks for letting me know that you think I'm fat.
I kind of think that's one in particular where someone later on went, oh no, I didn't mean it that way at all.
I don't know. When you're in the heat of the moment, you say things. Oh, I have. I've said some things. That I can't,
Can anyone think of
that I can't take back? What's
an
the
example of someone you've given a backhanded compliment to or vice versa when you receive?
I know there's something out there, Cubby, but I just can't wrap my head around it. Absolutely, I'm sure that something's been said. But I can't think of it.
Yeah, me
I know
either.
I did, and I know the context, but I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing. I remember feeling terrible, and it had something to do with pregnancy and weight.
Oh.
And whoops. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I said, but as soon as I said it, I realized, oh no, that didn't sound the way I meant for it to sound.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
It's an awful feeling.
Just be mindful, move out of their way, and just move on.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Get it real quick.
Yeah, it still works every time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Still works every friggin' time. All right, here we go. We're getting there now. We are dialed into the final for today's broadcast on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We were talking about backhanded compliments in the sack. Things like, I thought, you look like you'd be smaller. Oh, that little thing's not going to hurt me like my ex-boyfriends. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Backhanded compliments in the sack, and dudes have to look down at their gear and say, wait a minute, what the...
Oh, man. Swamp Stomping Jesus said he received one that says, you're really good in bed. Bigger guys don't even try.
Yeah, there's a difference between a backhanded compliment and just saying something stupid, of course. This is funny to me. This is funny. I forgot to write down who texted this my way. By the way, 651-989-9393. That's our text number if you ever want to get a hold of us. This is just straight up saying something stupid. And that's a whole different subject, and we could tackle that as well. Dude asked a girl in bed, hey, are those implants? She says, no. And he says, wow. They're so hard.
Okay.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sure he meant firm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have understood that.
Yeah.
Do you mean they're firm?
Listen to these.
High?
Yeah, oh, God.
Wow.
It's like damn oak trees here. What the hell?
So the one I was teasing earlier, I was trying to remember. I knew this isn't a backhanded compliment. It was meant as a compliment, but it was just a stupid thing to say. And I have avoided something like this ever since.
You said this to somebody?
Yes.
This is going to be good.
I didn't really know this person. There's a bunch of... So this is how long ago it was. There was a bunch... I was at a bar.
Oh, wow.
Recreationally with some friends, and there was a girl there who was kind of bummed out, and her friends are trying to console her, and she's upset because she had gained some baby weight.
Baby weight.
And, I was thinking, well, you got really nothing to worry about. You look great. And I said, plus, listen, once the baby is born, you'll lose it right away.
Oh!
And she had given birth 6 months prior.
Josh!
Something I didn't consider. She looked at me like I was the world's biggest a-hole. I felt like the world's I'm going to say the universe's biggest a-hole.
Mm-hmm. There's no coming back.
I will never put myself in that position again. I'm just not going to say a word. Coffee Needed Jesus said when she was in 5th grade, she asked a teacher if she knew if she was having a boy or a girl. She wasn't pregnant and was way too old to even get pregnant.
Oh.
I still haven't forgotten that 30 years later, she said.
Here's an example of time I said something stupid. And it was kind of similar to yours, Josh. A friend of mine, she was complaining. She was like, gosh, I'm feeling bad about myself. I put on weight. I need to get back in the gym. I don't feel good. And did I say, no, you look great? I said, well, hey, your boobs look bigger. That was my way of trying to soften her feeling bad about herself for gaining weight.
Yeah, that wouldn't have helped me.
The rack is dynamic, Ashley.
You dumb bastard.
I mean, I just skip the extra chins and go right to that rack. How about this one? I'm retiring for real this time, I promise, Jesus. Heard this. It's a damn good thing you're cute because you sure are dumb.
Oh.
I've said that to people.
NWO Jesus texted the program on this topic of backhanded compliments. Sexual in nature, sometimes before, sometimes after. NWO Jesus, he's got a wife now. Back when his wife was still single, she had an encounter with a man, and that man told her, wow, you look really hot in the dark. That sucks. That absolutely sucks.
Sorry, go ahead.
Here's a guy whose wife once said to him after they got married, I'm sure glad we don't have to I'm sure glad we don't have to have sex for a long time anymore.
That's one of the greatest things about getting married. Somebody said foreplay the other day. I had to look it up. I forgot what that was.
Didn't know the definition anymore.
Vertically challenged Jesus gained weight, as we do, she said. Some dude asked me if I was pregnant again. I lost 30 pounds in 3 months after that. Felt like yes. Yeah, again, I learned my lesson about trying to tell someone, hey, don't even worry about it. I'm never, ever doing that again.
Yeah, that's a messy situation. Women in their weight, you really can't say anything right, I'll be honest.
Sherman Turbo Jesus. He texted too. He said he had a girlfriend who said his penis size was, quote, normal. I still don't know if that's good or bad.
I'd consider that good.
I'd call that a friggin' win,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Boy, that is a win for you.
This text says, my wife was once talking about her boobs had gotten bigger. And like an idiot, I said, yeah, I wish my D got bigger when I gained weight.
Oh, you prick.
No. Stop it.
How do you come back from that?
No, you don't.
That's one of those where you were in a different world for a second, and then you came back to Earth real quick.
God dang.
Dang, that is terrible.
It can happen.
Group cakes, Jesus doesn't like it when girls say it's the perfect size.
Well, what's wrong with that? What the hell? What do you want?
That's large, or maybe on the too large size.
I mean, come on.
You know what? I think it's better if, like me personally, if I say it's perfect or normal, because, I mean, if I'm like, oh, yeah, it's so big, I'm lying. It's a lie. The majority of the times, they're lying to you.
Some of us dudes.
I'm cool with the lie.
I mean, yeah, like, sure. I mean, I think we can see through a lot of it. But I mean, what's that line from? Was it Family Guy or South Park? Where it's a room full of men? Does everyone here have a problem with their penis size? Right?
Yeah. I was quite pleased. We were measuring some stuff at the house the other day, and my wife, what she thought was 4 inches was pretty awesome. And I told her, I'm like, you know what? You're a husband's dream come true. Yeah.
You think that's 4 inches,
That's
huh?
perfect. Let's go with that.
Hell yeah,
That's
I love
4
you.
inches. You know it.
Oh, that's funny, Josh. That last week I pointed at a TV. It was like an 80-inch TV, and I was like, what is that, like 50 inches? I've never seen my boyfriend smile that big. He's like, yep, it is.
We went through and we renewed our vows over the weekend. I was so pleased. I got the right one.
All of this makes me think of one of my buddies. One of my buddies was hooking up with this gal. We'd go out of town, and there were these gals we knew in this town up north, and we would usually pair up. You know, we had like an ongoing relationship with these ladies. And so we'd go back to this shack and do what couples do. And I'm telling you, from the next room, my buddy with this gal that he paired up with, she is screaming bloody murder. It was unbelievable how loud this gal was as my buddy's in there, you know, doing what comes natural. The next day I had to ask him about this, right? And so we were having breakfast, and I said something like, by damn, you know, Missy, that gal that you're hooking up with, Jesus, she's just insane with the screaming and the yell. I mean, it was beyond porno. And I was expecting this great story, you know, about how, yes, she's just the most incredible sexual partner. But as soon as I said, you got to tell me what's up with Missy with the screaming and yelling over there, and my buddy, right away, he just straight face, he goes, yeah, that's all BS. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, she must think I'm stupid. He says, there's no way that I am bringing forth that kind of response with this little friggin' light switch that I got.
Yeah, I have the same feeling as him, and actually it makes it worse because then I start thinking, oh, she wants this to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just trying to get me to go quicker here.
Oh, that's what crosses your mind?
She's not pleased.
Smart.
She's just trying to get this all over with.
Okay. That was just, number one, we were still pretty young when this caper happened. And it was the first time, again, we've talked about this stuff before, Dana's generation of guys, you're all, what's the term again, Josh? This thing? What do you call that again?
I don't know what you're doing. Scrolling?
Sack. Yeah, okay.
Oh, sack tapping.
Dana's generation, they're all sack tapping each other. They're talking about their masturbation habits. Just weirdo psycho stuff. Josh and I did not come from that generation. All of that stuff was, I'm not trying to be cute with this, but very private. We didn't hit each other in the penis for laughs.
No,
we didn't talk about. So
well, I take that back. There was a short period of time where we did, but we were far younger than what Dana was doing in college.
Right. So when this buddy of mine said, all that screaming and yelling from this sexual partner of his, when he said that's all nonsense, there's no way that my little light switch is bringing that out of any woman. That was one of the first times that me or any of my friends openly talked about our penises. So that was kind of a marquee moment, and we laughed our balls off because it was like a first. The other thing that kind of, how do I say this? It was kind of like a first, was that a woman would put on that act for a man to try to keep him. Now looking back, I'm sure of it. The reason she was putting on that performance is so this buddy of mine would come back again and possibly date her, be her boyfriend. At this point, it was just, nonchalant F buddy kind of thing. So that was also a first for me, that a woman or anyone would be dishonest like that in bed in order to gain something.
I'm assuming this is a joke, but I thought this text was funny. My ex-wife told me I had the biggest penis of all my friends.
That's lights out. Lights
Good stuff. All right, somebody say something wholesome because I can't get to this birthday with the filth you were spewing a second ago.
I love Jesus.
Jesus?
Yes.
He is the Savior. He will come again. He died for our sins. Happy birthday to Sunflower Jesus, turning the big 09 today from Mom, Beer and Pizza Jesus. And then happy 32nd to Farmington Dad Jesus from It Hurts to Poop Jesus. Oh.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.